I'm Christine Lisi. Cowboys pass rusher Micah Parsons quite candid after the Eagles' loss when it came to coach Mike McCarthy. In addition to saying all coaching aside, Mike can leave and go where he wants to, Parsons, citing guard Zach Martin, said they want to win games for those type of legends who put in more time and work than Mike McCarthy ever did. Wrong approach taken by Parsons, says ESPN NFL analyst Rex Ryan.
You can have some private issue, all right? Go to the owner, go to whoever, go to Mike McCarthy. But why the hell do you think you need to say that? Who do you think gets blamed for everything? He gets it anyway. And so why are you piling on? You know what? He's professional as hell. He hadn't once blamed a damn player, ever.
Rex Ryan on Get Up. Today, Bears coach Matt Eberflus said he's still in the process of deciding changes to help the team's struggling offense, but he did make it clear Caleb Williams is still their starting quarterback. Tampa Bay Rays shortstop Wander Franco was arrested in the Dominican Republic today over a parking lot altercation involving guns. He is awaiting trial in a sexual abuse case involving a 14-year-old girl.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Kennedy, coming up Tuesday. The Bills sit at 8-2, so that makes them Super Bowl contenders, right? I'll tell you why I'm still not sold on them. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride! Woo!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Tigers get pummeled. Saints bounce back with a win. Lot to do. Let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
You know, almost stunning, really, as the final score of the game on Saturday, is that 5.5 quarters ago, like, think about this. 5.5 quarters ago, you'd won 6 straight. You beat Ole Miss. Huge win. Week later, you rout Arkansas. Remember, Arkansas was coming off their bye. They had upset Tennessee going into their bye. And you were up 2 scores on the road at A&M in the second half of a game between the only 2 remaining unbeaten teams in SEC play. I mean, 5.5 quarters ago, things were looking really good. And now we are questioning the entire direction of the program. Rightfully so, by the way. I mean, what's happened over the last 5.5 quarters is borderline inexplicable. Certainly unacceptable. The truth, I guess it can't be truth if I think it. What I think is happening is that Marcel Reed and Jalen Milroe exposed your biggest weakness that can only be fixed in recruiting and in the transfer portal. I'll come back to that. The game itself is pretty simple to see how it all unfolded. It actually started off so good. You deferred. Before they snapped the ball, they had a false start. So it's 1st and 15. They run the ball for a yard. It's 2nd and 14. The pressure gets to Milroe. He's flushed to the right. You had a little bit of a coverage bust there. He completes it to Ryan Williams for 19 yards. One of only 2 catches, by the way, from Ryan Williams on the entire night. 1st and 10, no gain. 2nd and 10, gain of 1 yard. 3rd and 9, reception for 10 yards. And that was the story. Bama converted their first 5 third downs. They were 7 of 9 in the first half. A couple plays later, Milroe was in the end zone. No worries. 50-yard kickoff return, 45-yard run by Caden Durham. Boom, you're right in business. You're thinking this is the kind of game we expected. Tigers settle for a short field goal. And then we kind of know what transpired. And really, the game all changed on Nussmeier's fumble. I mean, you had 4th and 1. You come up with the big defensive stop. There's 3:37 to go in the half. And this is why you defer. It's 14-6. You weathered the storm figuratively and literally. It's 14-6, despite things really not going your way. And you have the ball with 3 minutes to go, a chance to go score here at the end of the first half, get the ball to start the second half, maybe take the lead and change the entire dynamic in the second half. And crowds back into it after the 4th down stop on the first play. DJ Chester misses a blitzing linebacker. Nussmeier fumbles. Alabama gets it. 1, 2, 3 plays later, it's 21-6. Even still, you had an opportunity. Start of the second half, you convert 2 4th downs, a 4th and 1 on Nussmeier's sneak, a 4th and 4, Nussmeier to Mason Taylor. And ultimately, you get down to the 5-yard line and you throw the interception. And for all intents and purposes, that was the ball game at that point. But you had your opportunities, even despite as badly as it went at times, but the mistakes bit you. There's 3 things after the A&M game that we all looked at and said, okay, in your bye week, you got to fix these 3 things. It was your missed field goals, it was your turnover problems, and then the running quarterback. Well, you were 2 of 2. Damian Ramos was 2 for 2 in field goals. So that was about more the norm, right? The A&M game, I think we'd all agree with Ramos was more the outlier, was the exception, not the rule. The turnovers continue to be a problem. The turnovers cost you against Texas A&M, and then clearly the 2 most pivotal moments in the game on Saturday night that fundamentally just shifted the entire thing was Nussmeier's fumble, then the goal line interception. Those were 2 opportunities that you had to get back into the game. I'm not saying you would have won it because I still don't think you were going to stop Jalen Milroe from running the ball, clearly. But those could have made it a different path, a different I don't want to say a different outcome, but it would have been just a very different game than what the final score said it was, which was a completely one-sided tilt. And that's because of the third thing, which is your inability to stop the running quarterback. Jalen Milroe continues to be a stunningly inadequate downfield passer. The possession where you forced a punt down 14-3, where it looked like they were going to kick the field goal, then they had the delay and ended up punting. On the first play of that drive, they threw deep to Ryan Williams. He was wide open. Milroe missed him. And on the 3rd and 8, they threw deep down the middle, and Milroe missed him. He's just not a good vertical passer. I mean, that's objectively true. What he is, however, is a dynamic athlete running the football, which we all knew. That's not a secret. He ran for 155 against you last year, and that's the thing we all talked about for 2 weeks that you had to go work on to fix. And even though you knew he was going to run it, you still couldn't stop it. After the game, Brian Kelly talked about the issues with the running quarterback, and he said it plain and simple about what the reality is about the approach to stopping a running quarterback.
If you're watching the game, you're like, what did these guys do for 2 weeks? Like, we have a scheme to stop the quarterback. We did not get that done. So I take responsibility for it. You know, Blake is not going to hide from the responsibility, but we also have to put our players in the right position, too, to take advantage of what they're capable of doing.
Okay, so this is the one I wanted. Play the other one.
You know, we're not reinventing the wheel when it comes to defending the quarterback. There's only a couple of ways to defend him. And so we have to be able to get our players that we're not trading any of them. There's no waiver wire. We're not bringing anybody up from the demo squad. We've got to come up with the right answers on what works best for the guys that we have. It hasn't worked very well these last couple of games. So we got to go back and start all over again and look at what's the best way to defend in certain situations with the players.
Okay, thank you. With the players we have. He's telling you without telling you. There's only 2 ways to stop a mobile quarterback. And clearly what we're doing with the guys we have ain't working. We can't go to the demo squad. There's no waiver wire. You got what you got. He's telling you the answer. without telling you. He's not trying to place the blame at the foot of the players. And I understand very much that coaching is a massive part of this, okay? I do understand. Believe me, everyone is culpable. Brian Kelly, Blake Baker, Joe Sloan, they're all culpable, all of them. But the reality that we all need to accept at this point is that LSU, as far as its defensive talent, is not at a place where it's ready to compete for a championship. And there are certain things that LSU does very well defensively. I mean, think about it. Your coverage has improved this year. You have had a good pass rush all season. When you face a quarterback like Connor Wegman, you've been pretty good. Not just relatively good, like good no matter what comparison you're making. But when you face a quarterback like Lenora Sellers or Marcel Reed or Jalen Milroe that is athletic enough to get to the edge and powerful enough to run between the tackles, you can't stop it because you don't have the players to stop it. Every week, Hunt over at LouisianaSports.net does a write-up on the Pro Football Focus grades for the LSU game. Your 3 lowest graded players for this game among your starters, right? Guys that actually played, not like if you played one snap, were Major Burns, Greg Penn, and Jordan Gilbert. I am not sitting here trying to lay this loss at the foot of those 3 young guys. I'm not telling you these 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old guys are out there not playing hard and trying to lose. It's not the case at all. I think they're all trying very hard. And they're working hard and trying to do it. But the reality is at this point what your defense is. You have interior players that plug holes in the middle, and they've done pretty good at it as well. And you have athletic linebackers and players at the second and third level, like Major Burns at the star, who are expected to be your leading tacklers. That's what Blake Baker's defense is. I mean, a year ago at Missouri, they won a top 40 defense in the country, top 30 defense in the country, and all of their leading tacklers were linebackers and DBs. Like, that's how his defense is structured. And if you look at this game, I've told you before, like the Pro Football Focus grades, how that all kind of shapes out. It's like it's interesting. It's almost like a color-coded system where it's like blue, dark blue is like the best. And then it goes like to lighter blue, then to dark green, then to lighter green, then like to yellow, then to lighter yellow, then to like orange, and then to red. So like the darker, the redder it gets, like the worse it is. If you look at the color-coded map at Pro Football Focus of those players that I just mentioned, it's like dark red. I mean, like, Paul, you can pull this up if you want. So here's the defensive players. Like, if you look at the bottom, you have, like, there's Major Burns, that 29.1, that dark red, that's Major Burns. That's his tackling grade. Greg Penn had a 39.6 in run defense. Jordan Gilbert had a 30.8 in run defense. The guys you were expecting to be your last line of defense to get Milroe on the ground aren't capable. It's like, it's okay. It's just not their skill set against that guy. This is your weakness. We have a large enough sample size to know now. Like, it's 9 games. That's not going to get better. So you got 3 games to go. You're going to play Florida this week, and they got a transfer quarterback from Yale who doesn't run it a lick. Now, maybe DJ Lagway plays, and Lagway hasn't really run much this year either, but we'll cross that bridge. Then you face Diego Pavia, who absolutely is a problem running the football. And then you're going to face Oklahoma and Jackson Arnold, who's not really a running guy, but he's athletic enough to run and can hurt you. So I don't think this improves this year. There's no reason to believe it will. The only way it's going to get better is recruiting and in the transfer portal. And that's going to take time. And nobody wants to hear that, but that's the reality you're faced with right now. So what can you do over these final 3 games? Mathematically, you're still alive for the college football playoff. Listen, I am not sitting here telling you LSU's going to, please don't go say Scones. No. You only have 2 losses in the SEC. There is a path as a 2-loss team that LSU could get in. It's not really worth exploring right now. If LSU wins their next 3, here's what you got to hope. Hope everyone ahead of you loses. Hope Auburn beats Alabama. Hope Oklahoma beats Alabama. Hope Georgia beats Tennessee. A lot of things like that you need to hope for. Whatever. It's not worth having that convo, but it's mathematically still possible. What you need to do is make sure you go win your next 3 games. Win your next 3, get to 9-3, go to an ice bowl game, win it, get to 10. I'm not saying that's acceptable. I'm not saying that's people's expectations. But use that as a springboard into next year when you will have some of these young guys a year older, when you do have this recruiting class coming in, when you will go back into the portal to add more, because that's what it's going to take to get this thing back to the level it needs to be able to compete for a championship, because you're not there yet. Listen, I don't think Alabama is there either. I've said that plenty. I mean, this is still a team that lost to Vanderbilt, lost to Tennessee, and struggled against South Carolina and struggled against South Florida. That's not a great team. But they have a player with a great skill set that is uniquely positioned to manipulate the thing that you are worst at. And it cost you on Saturday. And it might cost you again against Vanderbilt here in a couple weeks. All right, it's after further review. Show Up and Every Day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR, the official beer of the LSU Tigers. I will, at the start of hour 2, because I know a lot of people are asking this. As I say, you're not there yet. It's going to take time. Be patient. I know a lot of people scoff at that. I'm going to dig deeper into that at the start of hour 2. So in about 45 minutes, I'm going to dig deeper into that. Like, why is LSU at a point where the roster isn't? And it's not as simple as saying Brian Kelly inherited a bad situation. He did, but I think it goes much beyond that. So I'm going to dig deeper into that in about 45 minutes and what I think is a realistic timetable for LSU to be competing again. We're getting to that at the start of hour number 2, so here in about 45 minutes from right now. All right, it's after further review. Let me knock out our first break of the show. We'll come back. Who would have thought the Saints actually brought us a little joy over the weekend? But they did by beating the Falcons. We'll talk about it next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Clegg's Nursery with 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Siegen near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Buy local, shop local. Clegg's been around for 60 years. Y'all are moving toward Thanksgiving. Make sure you get by and see our friends over at Clegg's. All the beautiful fall bedding plants and flowers, they got them. All your citrus trees, this is the time of year to get those citrus trees into the ground. Clegg's has an awesome selection. Actually, all 4 Clegg's nurseries have an awesome selection. And remember, if you're curious about what they have, I would always, always, always push you toward their Facebook page, because over at Clegg's, every time they get a new shipment, they have something new to promote. They start there at their Facebook page, including the new hours. By the way, fall hours with getting darker now. They close at 5 on weekdays. So you still got time to get by over at Clegg's Nursery. Any of the 4 locations, Siegen near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Buy local, shop local. Tell them Matt sent you in to Clegg's Nursery.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency. The light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
What an unbelievable week. As I said, you just said to the players, today doesn't happen without complete buy-in from the building. Listen, you guys have all reported about the changes and all that, and that's all well and good, but the buy-in and the execution, the preparation, I just told those guys, nothing substitutes good preparation.
Darren Rizzi, a winner in his head coaching debut. You know what's so interesting about that game? That game was effectively an about-face from everything the Saints were for the first part of this season. I mean, under Dennis Allen, and I'm not trying to sit here and tap dance on his grave or speak ill of the dead. Figuratively, Dennis Allen's very much alive. I just mean in a coaching parlance. Dennis Allen's Saints found creative ways to lose games. Just look at the last time they played the Falcons. They did not allow an offensive touchdown and lost the game. I mean, we were going through all the numbers of like the historical perspective around the Saints. Like the last game he coached, it was the third time in NFL history that a team had outgained their opponent by 150, outrushed their opponent by 100, scored at least whatever it was, and lost. I mean, it was historical perspective on the creative ways they kept losing, because that's what losing teams do. When push comes to shove in the NFL, where every game is competitive, and the old adage is any given Sunday, and anyone truly can beat anyone. The Panthers have now won 2 in a row, by the way. Anyone can beat anyone. How you make plays in critical moments determines if you win games. And look at what happened. On Sunday against Atlanta, you were outplayed in almost every single facet of that football game. The Atlanta Falcons outgained you by more than 100 yards. The Atlanta Falcons nearly doubled your rushing total. The Atlanta Falcons won time of possession by nearly 11 minutes. But when you needed it, you came up with the plays. It was amazing to see. Tyrann Mathieu's interception in the fourth quarter to stamp out an Atlanta drive that was potentially going to tie or win. Of course, at the end, even after Alvin Kamara drops what would have been a walk-in touchdown that would have iced the game, and we're all thinking the same thing. We're all thinking the same thing. Man, that was your chance to put it away. Now Kirk Cousins is going back out there. You've got this makeshift secondary after you trade Lattimore. You're out there with no Paulson Adebo. We're literally debating the impact of not having Rico Payton this week. And that's how you had Ugo Amadi playing in the slot. And what happens? Chase Young goes and gets a strip sack fumble. Game over. Awesome. You made the plays when you had to have it. Blocked field goal right before the end of the half. I mean, those were the things that helped you win this game. There were the types of plays that evaded you under Dennis Allen. And yeah, I do think Darren Rizzi plays a big role in that. The attention to detail, the emotion your team plays with. When the New Orleans Saints get the blocked field goal at the end of the first half, and they pan to Darren Rizzi, and he looks like he's about to have a friggin' aneurysm. He's like so clenched up and fired up, all the blood's rushing to his face. The memes on social media have been awesome about that, by the way. But yeah, it's very evident these players were excited to play that game and to play for Darren Rizzi. Listen to Alvin Kamara after the game. He talked about it. He was like, yeah, like it felt different. Like we were playing with a different energy this week.
It was energy. It was a belief. We got some swag back, preparation, details, fundamentals. Everybody was accountable to each other, and we haven't had that. It hasn't been there. Like I've been saying these past couple of weeks, we all want to win. The recipe it was just missing something, and I feel like we got that thing. Rizzi came in and he had a clear message for us. He told us, like, man, this is what we have to do to win. He gave us the recipe, gave us the formula. Everybody bought in throughout the week. Everybody did what they had to do. It's your 111. It's about doing your job on every play, And there's still a lot of things we left out on the field, and we got to clean up, starting with me, that drop that I'm mad about still. But we won. But, I think unity was one of the words of the week. And, when you're united, you all believe, and you're all together, there's so much you can do.
I mean, that's just a different feel, man. That's why you had to make this change. And I know, let me not get ahead of myself. Let me talk about the game, and then we'll talk about that. But what Alvin's saying there is why you had to make the change. You lost 7 in a row. No one in that locker room believed in Dennis Allen. They believed in Darren Rizzi. They believed in what he was saying. They believed in the energy he was bringing, the vibe, the emotion, and they went out and played their ass off, and they made plays late, and they won a game. I don't think it's going to dramatically change this season for the Saints. But that was awesome to see. A couple things about the game. Then I'll go big picture, because I know people are looking at it going, man, why'd you have to win, man, the draft? I'll get to that in a second. Number one, I loved seeing the fire from Rizzi. I tweeted at one point during the game, like, there was a penalty called where Darren Rizzi went and got all up in the ref's face. I said, that was the first time that I'd seen a Saints coach get all in a ref's behind in 3 years. Dennis Allen was so passive on the sideline. And here you had a guy going to bat for his team, even going for it on that 4th down early in the game, which I hated, by the way, take the points. But anyway, even the guys said afterwards, it showed a belief in him. It was just a different energy. Blame where it's deserved, credit where it's due. How about Trevor Penning? Every Monday, Ross Jackson over at LouisianaSports.net does a Pro Football Focus grade piece. And one of the things he highlighted, the highest graded player for the New Orleans Saints in the game against the Falcons, the highest graded player was Trevor Penning, 92.7. 5 pressures, just 1 of 5 pressures surrendered by the Saints came from Penning. His pressure rate is about half of what it was a year ago when he was left tackle. 1 pressure on 27 snaps as a pass blocker on Sunday. Also graded highly in the run game. He was the highest. It was his highest run blocker grade of his career at 94.7. Again, blame when warranted, credit where it's due. Really good day for Trevor Penning. Alvin Kamara, 109 scrimmage yards for Kamara. Was good in the run game, had over 50 receiving yards as well. He did have a chance for an even bigger day, but dropped the deep pass at the end, and even talked about that after the game. It was a funny comment, actually.
Man, it was just up there, man. It was one of them easy ones. That was like, I went to the sideline and I told Coach Dub, I was like, that was like the lamest thing I've ever done in my life, playing football. But it hurt me because I could have iced it. It would have been, that would have been good. But we still won, so I'm good. It is what it is.
We can laugh about it because they won. If they had lost, I don't think we'd been laughing. Cam Jordan got a sack, which was nice to see. It took 10 weeks for Cam Jordan to get his first sack of the year. By the way, Cam is now at 118 and a half sacks for his career. This is relevant because the threshold for the Hall of Fame, this isn't necessarily something that people talk about openly, like 300 wins for a pitcher, or 500 homers, 3,000 hits have always been those benchmarks in baseball. But every player in the NFL that's gotten to 125 sacks has gotten into the Hall of Fame. So Cam Jordan right now is at 118 and a half. So he's still 6.5 sacks away from that sort of magical threshold. It's hard to imagine him getting there unless he gets things in gear a good bit, but he's close. A lot of people I know are looking and bummed that the Saints won because they're looking forward to the draft. I'll tell you this. I am never going to be upset about beating Atlanta. I mean, the only scenario you could ever present to me is if the Saints are 0-16, they're playing a Week 18 game against Atlanta, there's another winless team or a one-win team in the NFL, and you got to lose it to get the first pick, and there's like a transcendent quarterback there. That might be the only time I'd ever be like, all right, you can lose it. You get a chance to beat Atlanta, I'm with it. Always. And seven consecutive losses, eventually you got to turn that thing around and get some good vibes and good mojo. Listen, you've got plenty of losses ahead in this season because the reality is this still isn't a great team. You're still down your top two receivers. You're still old on defense. You've still got Derek Carr as your quarterback, who is mid at best, like we've talked about. Like, all those things are still true. You still have all the flaws you did a week ago when you fired Dennis Allen. You're going to play with a little more energy, a little more give a damn, a little more passion. But you still got a handful of games that it's hard to imagine the Saints winning the rest of the way. Like, I think they can win this week against Cleveland. And then you go into your bye. I think you can win at the Giants because they're terrible. And I think you can beat the Raiders in New Orleans. Outside of those three, I'm not sure you favor the Saints anywhere else. I don't know that they beat the Rams. Hard to pick them against the Commanders. And Tampa lost again. I mean, they're only a game ahead of New Orleans, but I think they're playing much better than their record shows. And I don't think you're winning at Green Bay. So 6-11 feels about right. But I mean, that's the record I picked them before the season. It feels about right. And that should put you lingering somewhere in the top 10 of the draft. And it's going to put you in position, hopefully, to draft a franchise quarterback or move up to draft your franchise quarterback, and we'll see what ultimately they do. By the way, I'm not completely sold the Saints are going to draft a quarterback, even though I would love for them to do it. I've been pounding the table about that forever. They've done it once in their history in the first round. So until they do it again, I don't know that we project them to do it. But if you're out here moaning about the Saints beating the Atlanta Falcons because of draft position, you need to check yourself. You want to win in the NFL. The best case scenario is the Saints get hot, make a run, and go 10-7. I don't think that's going to happen, but you let the chips fall where they may for the draft when that happens. But keep going, playing better, getting some young guys, some experience, some confidence. Trevor Penning playing better, Brian Brzee on the interior, things like that. Alontae Taylor out wide to see if he can be a franchise corner for you. And if you win some games along the way, even better. And even better still if it's against Atlanta. All right, it's After Further Review. Monday shows are brought to you by Relief Windows, reliefwindows.com. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll come back. We'll go around the SEC. We'll do what we learned. It's AFR. Stay here.
AFR.
Brought to you by Glow Resources, GLO, glowresources.com. At Glow Resources, they are complete employer solutions. Remember, at Glow Resources, if you are looking to hire the right people and having trouble finding the right people that are going to make your business more efficient, maybe you're hiring people and you're having trouble finding people that are on time, that are accountable, that are responsible, that are efficient, that are productive. Well, maybe the breakdown is in the hiring process. Are you asking the right questions during the interview? You know, at Glow Resources, they interview roughly 50 candidates for jobs a day. Over the course of the year, they interview some 15,000 prospective candidates. They know the right questions to ask to make sure you get people with the right qualifications. Not just the right qualifications as far as the components of the job, but sometimes it's physical qualifications as well, the physical requirements. Have a conversation with them today. GLO, glowresources.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
You know, we do the staff picks here at 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. That's Hester and T-Bob and Hunt and me all pick the same game, and then see how we're just winners, not against the spread. And your boy was up by like 5 games. Not that this matters. I mean, none of us actually know anything about anything. But from time to time throughout the season, there will be a game where like one of us is the only one picking a certain way. Well, that happened on Saturday twice for me. I was the only one to pick Georgia against Ole Miss. You could point and laugh, but I'll remind you that I was kicking everybody's ass in this thing. But anyway, I really did believe Georgia would win that game, and it started off really good. And I was talking to Muse and Hanny on Eagle Game Day at the time, and it was right when Georgia got the interception, Dart was hurt, and Georgia scored to go up 7-0. So, like, I'm feeling really good. I'm like, oh, who could have seen this happen? I'm the only one on the staff that picked LSU to win the game. And anyway, then it all or Georgia, and then it went very, very badly for me after that. Serves me right. But anyway, so the two were that one. The Ole Miss was picking Georgia against Ole Miss, and the other, I was the only one that went on a limb and picked Utah. I loved Utah at home against BYU. And I'll be darned, they had it. They had it. And the refs stole it from them. At least that's what the Utah athletic director said if you missed it. It looked like Utah had a sack that would have ended the game. They called a defensive holding on Utah that gave BYU new life, and they went on and kicked the game-winning drive. Immediately after the game, here was the Utah AD about what happened.
12 years, this game was absolutely stolen from us. We were excited about being in the Big 12, but tonight I am not. We won this game, someone else stole it from us. Very disappointed. I will talk to the commissioner. This was not fair to our team. I'm disgusted by the professionalism of the officiating crew tonight. Thank you.
They fined him $40K for that. And by the way, as someone who had Utah in this game, I wholeheartedly agree. It was stolen. Never mind the fact that I'm always the guy that says the refs never cost you a game. To hell with that in this instance only, because I was the only one that had Utah. The refs stole it. And I hold these results under protest. Despite the fact that my picks were like 1-5 this week, I think I'm still in the lead. That's how much I was boat racing everybody.
That one could have changed things for you, though. You don't know. It could have.
We'll see what happens at the end of the season, maybe.
How about a guy said, we won that game?
We won the game.
Sir, no, you didn't. No, you actually lost by 1.
You lost. I went to bed after the sack. I was like, oh, thank God I got 1. I woke up the next day, picked up my phone, and you opened up the ESPN app and was just looking at, and I saw the final score. I was like, oh, what
brutal.
happened? And then saw what happened. It was brutal. I mean, it was brutal.
Brutal.
It was very bad fortune, no doubt. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. Locations all over South Louisiana. You know the drill, y'all. Get to Shaw Bills, shop tires online, schedule service online. Maybe you're heading down to Gainesville this week before you make that drive 10 east, and then you go south on. I know what it is. The highway to hell. You go south on the highway to hell. That'll get you to Gainesville. Make sure you bring your vehicle to Shaw Bills if you need tires rotated, alignment, oil change, anything like that. Shaw Bills will take care of you. Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. Shaw Bills, we keep you rolling. All right, let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference. The Florida Gators.
This will be of interest to LSU fans. Florida freshman quarterback DJ Lagway getting closer to a return. He had a grade 2 hamstring strain in the loss to Georgia. Didn't play this past weekend against Texas, but did work out Monday, and Billy Napier said he's expected to practice Monday. So Lagway day-to-day, but could play against LSU on Saturday.
The Auburn Tigers.
Speaking of quarterbacks, Peyton Thorne, according to Hugh Freeze, is missing practice time due to injury. Is expected to return to the field, or could return to the field, against ULM this Saturday. Thorne injured his shoulder in the second half 2 weeks ago in the loss to Vanderbilt, but stayed in the game. Plan to see how the week goes and if he's able to return. Freeze said Thorne's been pretty solid despite the 3-6 season.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Linebacker Keanu Coate has been suspended by Kalen DeBoer. He did not travel this weekend to Baton Rouge for the LSU game. He's a redshirt junior, missed his second game of the fall, also didn't play against Tennessee. In 7 games, he's got 5 tackles and a half a sack in his 4th year at Alabama.
The Ole Miss Rebels.
2026 athlete Zion Legree, 3-star, has committed to Ole Miss. He's out of Pine Forest. That's down in Pensacola. Chose the Rebs over Georgia, Miami, Missouri, Illinois, Mississippi State, and others. 6'1", 190, the number 391 overall prospect.
The Vanderbilt Commodores.
And Vandy got a commit from 3-star wide receiver LeBron Hill. Took an official visit there in Nashville last month. 6'4", 180. Chose the Commodores over Kansas. And had also previously been committed to Louisville, then Purdue. So our guy LeBron Hill gets around a little bit. Kind of like his namesake. There you have it. That is Around the SEC. AFR is brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Let me knock out a quick break. Wrap up hour number 1 with what we learned. Stay here.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Renaissance Hotel, the Watermark Hotel, 2 amazing hotel properties, Watermark Downtown, Renaissance Southtown. Watermark, of course, is Baton Rouge's premier hotel property. Downtown Baton Rouge. My goodness, if you've never been to the Watermark Hotel, you got to carve out time to make sure you get by. Maybe it's to go have dinner at the Gregory, the restaurant there inside of the Watermark that I tell you about all the time. Maybe you've got an event downtown. Make plans to pop into the Watermark, to their lobby bar to have a glass of wine or a cocktail, do a little people watching. Maybe you've got an event coming up. Remember, at the Watermark downtown, beautiful place for wedding receptions. Gorgeous if you want to have any type of work function, board meetings. One of the really cool things about the Watermark when you walk in the lobby, there's this staircase that goes down. It's where the vaults used to be, an old Louisiana National Bank building. They've turned those vaults into conference rooms. It's amazing. You got to check it out. It's the Watermark Hotel.
The only thing scary about the deals at Bayou Ford is if you miss out on them, like $15,000 off F-150. Bayou Ford has $15,000 off Ford F-150. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial properties. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
All right, wrapping up hour number 1. Glad you're hanging out in 13 minutes from right now. The question a lot of people have asked, and rightly so, after LSU's lopsided loss to Alabama, is whether or not the LSU program is progressing. Like, are they actually getting closer to competing for and winning a national championship? It's, by the way, the question everyone should be asking, because that should be and is the expectation at LSU. I gave it some thought. I want to talk about that coming up here in about a dozen minutes from right now. Right now, though, every Thursday, Muse, Pauly, and I tell you 3 things to keep an eye on during the football weekend. We come back and talk about it. It's called What We Watch. Or something. It's called What We Learn.
We watched. Now, let's review.
What we learn. Watch, and then we learn. You got to watch it first, and then you can learn. So now we learn. So here's what we learn. Muse.
So keeping an eye on Vanderbilt in South Carolina this weekend. Looked like a spot right there, man. Vandy, we'd seen them do it so many times. The line got all the way up to 6. Vandy had not lost the game by 6 or more all season.
They knew.
Unfortunately, they just could not get it going here. You had a fumble early in the game that derailed some Vanderbilt momentum. Couple turnovers on downs late. All in all, 270 yards. South Carolina's defense was, South Carolina's defense, and they won it.
I faded Phil. It was the one game I should have actually gone with Phil.
I mean, man, it's a true and tried spot. It just didn't go.
Yeah. Tried and true.
Tried and true, yeah.
I knew what you meant.
Yeah.
Pauly.
I was watching Michigan, Indiana. See if Indiana can keep it rolling. They knocked off the defending champs to secure their first 10-win victory. First 10 wins victory season in program history. Curtis Rourke threw for 206. Indiana's defense held Michigan to 1 touchdown. Indiana still tied atop of the Big Ten with Oregon. Their biggest test comes in 2 weeks when they face Ohio State.
All those bums at the Dallas Cowboys ruined my guy's day. It wasn't Cooper Rush's fault that they lost 34-6. Look, 13 of 23 for 45 yards. How about you get open, you bums? Hey, CeeDee Lamb, how about you not drop one in the lights, you bum? Hey, Jerry Jones, how about you not build a stadium where you're blinding your receivers, you bum? Okay. It ain't Coop's fault. We all know that. He can't throw it and catch it himself. He can't block for himself. He can't block, throw, catch, and run, you bums. Freaking Dallas, ruining my guy Coop's day. Love you, Coop. That's what we call him.
No,
Those of us who know him
stop.
best.
He's bad. He's
That's
terrible.
what we call it.
We move on.
You shut your mouth.
He's not good. I'm
You're
sorry.
fired. Get out.
Those damn Kansas City Chiefs, they keep finding a way. It's going to happen to them, man. So the Broncos, who had just a brutal back-to-back, this time they were at the Chiefs, they jump out to a 14-3 lead, and then it's Chiefs from there on out, scoring 13 unanswered. But the Broncos put together a drive. They have a chance at the end, and Kansas City blocks the damn field goal and wins the game. It looked like they were finally on the ropes, and then they weren't. It'll happen, but credit to the Broncos. They played well.
Steelers Commanders. This was a back-and-forth game. Pittsburgh was up early. Washington led most of the second half. Russell Wilson looked like his old self. He had 3 touchdown passes, including one to Mike Williams that would give the Steelers the lead and eventually the win.
Great throw.
Jaden Daniels threw for 202, but Washington's comeback comes up short. They will face off against Philly on Thursday night.
I asked what Georgia team was going to show up in Oxford. Was it the team that suffocated Clemson, suffocated Texas, or the one that threw up on itself in the first half against Alabama? Well, we got our answer. Ole Miss spotted Georgia's 7-0 lead. Ole Miss led a touchdown drive with their backup quarterback while Dart was out. Dart came back, and then it was all over but the shout, and Ole Miss never let up 28-10. Rebs moved to 8-2, very much alive now for the college football playoff.
I was looking for a potential look-ahead spot for Tennessee as they have Georgia this weekend. Their offense got off to a slow start, as has kind of become the usual for them, but their defense certainly did not. State hung around a little, never got anything going on offense. Tennessee rolls 33-14. Showdown coming next.
Lions-Texans. How about this game? First half, all Texans jumped out to a 23-7 lead. Halftime, Jared Goff took us 5 touchdowns. Or, excuse me, 5 interceptions. Five interceptions.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't 5 touchdowns.
So you would think the Lions lost, right?
That's what I would think, yes.
Yeah, not even close. Second half, all Lions.
It was close.
Followed all the way back. Jake Bates tied the game with a field goal that was right in the right upright.
That was nasty.
Cool. 2 of them.
Yeah.
2 of them.
And then he clicked the game winner.
The game winner was...
So it's on the other side of the upright. Barely squeezed it in. Lions now 8-1.
Coach Prime. Where the haters at? Where y'all at? I don't see y'all. 7-2. Blowout Texas Tech 41-27. Control their own destiny in the Big 12 and by extension the college football playoff. I don't know. Y'all want to line up anybody haters?
I have a little something on that later.
Haters. Haters. I don't care what you have it on. I don't care what your bets are. I ain't talking about that.
I'm not talking.
I'm talking about the Coach Prime haters who all lined up when Deion Sanders got that job. All y'all who talk about, oh, they were 4-8 last year. Yeah, he inherited a team that won 1 freaking game. He quadrupled the win total in year 1. And in year 2, they're at 7-2. I don't know if they're going to win out. Don't really care. All I know is they've exceeded every one of y'all's expectations. All y'all who said Deion was all flash, y'all ain't watching. Y'all just ain't watching. Congrats to Coach Prime. Go get him. Win the next 3. Get to 10-2. Get yourself in a playoff. I'd love to see it. College football is better for it. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. Y'all, get on by and see our friends at South Point Volkswagen, or better yet, start at the website, southpointvw.com. Sign Then Drive is back. Remember, it's simple. With Sign Then Drive, 0 down, 0 due at signing, no first month's payment, no security deposit. Sign your name, and with little else, you're driving away in a brand new Volkswagen from South Point Volkswagen. Remember, at South Point, they got the largest inventory because they're our largest volume Volkswagen dealer in the state. Means they can also offer you better deals. But is there any better deal than sign and drive? Huh. Good luck finding one. South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? Okay, Jameis will start for the Browns in the Dome this week. Got to talk about that in about 20 minutes. When we come back, how close is LSU realistically to competing for a national championship? We'll dive deep next on AFR.
AFR.
If you're thinking of buying land, your first call needs to be to First South Farm Credit. Better yet, you can start at the website at firstsouthland.com, firstsouthland.com. I remember I had this conversation when I first started talking to our friends at First South Farm Credit about possibly doing this endorsement. And one of the things that Ben and Tim over there told me, we were having lunch, they said, we had this client one time. We financed his land purchase, and we told him, hey, look, if we ever see rates go down, we'll reach out to you if we can lower your interest rate, get you a lower payment, all that sort of stuff. And the guy basically called BS. And lo and behold, within a couple of years, rates had ticked down. They called me and said, man, I'll be darned, y'all actually did this. It doesn't save them money, but it's right for you. That's how you stay in business for more than 100 years. Your first call, if you're thinking of buying land, needs to be to First South Farm Credit. firstsouthland.com. Again, start online, firstsouthland.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is SportsCenter. I'm Christine Lisi. Some interesting comments from Cowboys pass rusher Micah Parsons regarding whether Coach Mike McCarthy would be back next year. Parsons said Mike can leave and go wherever he wants. He then cited guard Zach Martin, added they want to win games and do great things for those type of legends who put in more time and work than Mike McCarthy ever did. Parsons, though, forgot one thing about his coach, notes ESPN NFL analyst Damian Woody.
That is the quickest way to destroy a locker room, what Michael Parsons just did right there. To literally undress your coach in the manner that in which he did is just unacceptable. Because let me tell you something. As great as Michael Parsons is, he's a great player. But let me tell you something about Mike McCarthy. He's done something that you haven't done. He's won a champion. He's won a championship. He is a champion.
Dolphins receiver Tyreek Hill, wrist injury, questionable against the Rams on Monday Night Football, 8 Eastern ESPN. Tampa Bay Rays shortstop Wander Franco was arrested in the Dominican Republic over a parking lot altercation involving guns. He is awaiting trial in a sexual abuse case involving a 14-year-old girl.
Here's one stat that's super simple to remember. Discover automatically doubles the cash back on your credit card at the end of your first year with Cash Back Match. With Discover, you could turn $150 cash back to $300. See terms at discover.com/credit card.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt!
Hey, shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
You, sir. And Mr. Toby Tom Blake. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. After LSU's 42-13 loss on Saturday to Alabama, a lot of people are asking the question, when is LSU going to be able to compete for a championship? And that is, by the way, absolutely the right question to be asking. Saturday was kind of a measuring stick game. How close are you to being where you want to be with respect to other teams that are competing for the same thing in the league? And you had all of the dynamics you wanted. I mean, you had an extra week to prepare. You had that game in Baton Rouge, night game, all the stuff. And you laid an egg. Completely unacceptable in every way. There was no hand waving or excusing any of that. And what's very clear is that you are not ready to be a college football playoff contender. It's not to say you're not a good team. Ole Miss just pummeled Georgia. Ole Miss looks like a playoff team. You beat them. Arkansas beat Tennessee. Tennessee looks like they could be a playoff team. Well, you beat Arkansas. You beat South Carolina, who walloped Texas A&M. Might be a playoff team. You're seeing a lot of cannibalism in the conference, which I think we're all maybe expected that in a 16-team league with a lot of good teams, and then everything people talk about all the time with the portal era and the transient nature of players and how you can get good quickly. And I think we also should have seen it because of the circumstances around LSU. You lost a Heisman winner, 2 first-round picks, your Broyles Award finalist offensive coordinator, and you had the worst defense in the history of the program a year ago. Was it realistic to think you could lose all of that on offense and get so much better on defense in 1 year that you were going to be a national title contender? No. Clearly. Pretty good. There's spots where you've been really good, but not consistent enough to be a contender. There's a couple of things I want to address because the question that most are asking is like, why isn't the roster better in year 3? How close are you to contending? And I want to talk about that. But I'll start, though, with the Brian Kelly can't win big games narrative. This is a fundamental fallacy. And you hear it a lot from the Notre Dame side. And the thing that I will continue to remind you, that I told you 3 years ago when Brian Kelly was hired, I told you when Marcus Freeman in his first year lost his opener to Ohio State, then lost to Marshall, when they lost 3 games in year 2, when they lost earlier this year to Northern Illinois. The problem at Notre Dame was not a Brian Kelly problem. It was a Notre Dame problem. I'll explain very quickly again what I mean. And for those that don't know the context, my brother went to school at Notre Dame. I went to Holy Cross for a year in South Bend, lived there for a year, been around that culture for a long time. I know a lot about it. And the reality is Notre Dame has a lowered ceiling. Like the admission standards at Notre Dame, which they do, well, historically, have not lowered for football, have lowered the ceiling at that school, but the expectations remain high. And that gap is the problem. There's incredible expectation at Notre Dame that's unrealistic until they allow the coach and the football program to recruit outside of the academic expectations of that school. And that's a Notre Dame thing, not a Brian Kelly thing. Go back, 2001, or the 2000 season, they played the Fiesta Bowl. I was actually at this game against Oregon State. They got blown out 41-9. The 05 Fiesta Bowl is the January 06, but the 05 season, they lost by 2 touchdowns to Ohio State. The next season, this was Charlie Weiss. This wasn't even Brian Kelly. Next season, they play in the Sugar Bowl against LSU, 41-14. Again, Notre Dame went 9 straight years without winning a bowl game. Like, this isn't, or 9 straight bowl games with a loss. This isn't a Brian Kelly problem. It's a Notre Dame problem. Maybe they're fixing it under Marcus Freeman. We'll see. I don't really care about Notre Dame. But it's a fallacy to say Brian Kelly can't win a big game. The problem at Notre Dame is Notre Dame. Brian Kelly got them to a BCS championship game and 2 college football playoffs. The insufficiencies on the roster are why you ran up against Alabama and Clemson in those types of games and couldn't hang. And then look at, he's already won big games here. Winning Alabama in 2022, the Ole Miss game earlier this year. Like, to say that he can't win a big game is just it's a fallacy. It's a fundamentally flawed argument because he's done it. So put that aside. The bigger question is, why are they not better in year 3? Because I and all of us talked about this. Everywhere Brian Kelly's been, year 3 is where they've hit that inflection point. Year 3 at Notre Dame, they played for a national championship. Year 3 at Cincinnati, they were undefeated. Year 3 at Central Michigan, they won the league. So Brian Kelly even said it before last year. Before his second year in Baton Rouge, he was asked if they're ready to be a contender, and he said they're probably a year away, pointing to this season. Now, I will point out, look at LSU's previous coaches when they won their championships. Nick Saban did it in year 4. Les did it in year 3. Ed Orgeron did it in year 3. What is fair to say, though, and I think you would agree, if we're just laying it out there, what Brian Kelly inherited is closer to what Nick Saban inherited than what Les or Ed inherited. Nick Saban inherited a team from Jerry DiNardo that had back-to-back losing seasons. They went 4 wins, 3 wins in consecutive years. Then Nick came in 2000 and won the national championship in his 4th year. By the way, in his 3rd year, in 2002, they lost 5 games. And the next year won the Natty. Les inherited an amazing situation from Nick. Ed inherited a great situation from Les. And there's so much flawed thinking that Ed Orgeron inherited a bad situation. That 2016 LSU roster was loaded. Leonard Fournette, Darius Geis, Foster Moreau, Malachi Dupree, DJ Chark, Ethan Posick, Will Campbell, your Arden Key, Devon Gottschall, Kendall Beckwith, Tre'Davious White, Jamal Adams, Dante Jackson. 2016 was loaded. That was an NFL team that should have won a championship. Les screwed that up. But don't tell me Ed inherited nothing. Or Ed inherited a great situation. So this more resembles what Nick inherited in 2000. Back-to-back losing seasons, roster turnover, all that. So you had a long way to go. But you had some early wins. Jaden Daniels Brian Kelly gets credit for going and getting Jaden Daniels here. That first year, you had some wins in the transfer portal. Brooks and Fouché and Jark Bernard Converse and Mekhi Garner, and that helped ease that transition. But you also had some early mistakes, and these are directly attributed to Brian Kelly. You wonder why the roster is where it is now and not ready to compete for a national championship because of the early mistakes Brian Kelly made. And there are a few. And we pointed them out at the time, and they came to pass. Hiring Brian Polian as your recruiting coordinator was a terrible mistake. He did not understand the culture. He did not understand recruiting Louisiana. That was Brian Kelly doing something that was comfortable to him, and it cost him. Now, to his credit, after 1 year, he made a change and moved Frank Wilson into that role. But it set you back. Undeniably set you back that first year. Not retaining Corey Raymond. Y'all can say whatever y'all want, and I know a lot of you have about Corey and say the game passed him by. I think now you're seeing how stupid that is. You've already got DJ Pickett committed for this class, and another 5-star from Birmingham who's committed to Ohio State was on campus this weekend, and his dad told On3 it's because it was out of respect for Corey Raymond that he was here. You want the best players in the secondary? Corey Raymond gets them. Instead, Brian Kelly hired Robert Steeples. His first ever college job was the LSU cornerbacks coach job. Those were major whiffs. Major whiffs. He's got to own that. But now you're at a point where you're starting to get it right. I think you would agree with me. He has fixed the staff. Frank Wilson, Corey Raymond, Bo Davis, Blake Baker, Kevin Peoples. Not only are these amazing coaches, they are elite level recruiters. And you are seeing the fruits of that labor. This 2024 class, the guys that are freshmen right now, you had 2 5-stars. You flipped 4 guys from A&M, including the number 1 player in the state in Dominic McKinley, one of the top offensive linemen in the country in Weston Davis, Gabe Relaford, who's playing a bunch as a freshman, Cohen Eccles, who's going to be a great player for you as well, Caden Durham, Dom McKinley, Deshaun Spears, PJ Woodland, Gabe Relaford, Tradez Green, Ahmad Bro, Aaron Burrell, who's your place kicker. I mean, awesome. Like, those are all true freshmen that are playing an impact this year, that are only going to get better. And then you look at the 2025 class. You've got 3 5-stars, including the number 1 player in the country, number 1 quarterback in the country, number 1 running back in the country, number 1 cornerback in the country. It's starting to look like it needs to look to be able to compete at that level. Meaning a national, I'm not just talking about Saturday against Alabama. I'm talking about winning a national championship. And then you look at 2026. 6 of the top 70 players in America for 2026 are from the state of Louisiana. 6 of the top, you have 6 top 70 players in the country in your state. LSU either has those 6 committed or is leading in all the crystal ball projections for all of them. So I can set a path to say, man, the 24 class, the freshmen this year are already making an impact. There's a lot of guys to be excited about. The 25 class looks like one of the greatest classes LSU's ever going to sign. In the 26 class, you get a bumper crop in the state like we've seen in certain years, like in 2011 when you had Jarvis, Odell, Lyle Collins, Freak Johnson. I mean, it's that kind of year. So I can point to a path that shows, man, look at what the roster looks like in 25, 26, 27. And you go, okay, that's what it's supposed to look like. Problem is, we're just impatient. And it would have happened quicker, but for some of those early missteps we talked about. And I'm not saying you should sit here and be happy about it, but I can point to it and say that's one of the reasons why you had a setback, why you're not further along. But you also had a long way to go. Now, I understand impatience, like wanting it to happen now. There's one way, really, that you could accelerate this, and it's the transfer portal. But ask yourself this question. And by the way, I don't think there is a right answer to this. We don't know the answer to the question yet. But are you willing to accelerate this process through the portal and potentially have a major step back after? Look at Florida State. Florida State went ham in the portal a year ago. They had Jordan Travis and Keon Coleman, and the big receiver who came over from Arizona State, Johnny Wilson, Braden Fisk, the defensive lineman, Ventrell Cypress. Like, they went ham in the portal. And they got a 13-0 season. We know what happened to them last year, and now they're 1-9 and fired their whole staff. They lost all those guys, and look at what they've bottomed out. Ole Miss this year, I think is staring at a similar reality. I'm not telling you Ole Miss next year is going to be 1-9, but all the guys they brought in on this team because they saw a moment, an opportunity to strike, they're all gone next year. All of them. You want to talk about a massive pullback next year? It's going to happen at Ole Miss. Maybe not as severe as would happen at Florida State. Brian Kelly has been pretty consistent. The way he wants to build his program, build through the recruiting ranks, develop, supplement in the transfer portal. Okay. That's going to take time because you have to piece together multiple recruiting classes, develop those players, and then find your deficiencies and supplement. But that takes time. Are you willing to be patient in doing that? And again, I don't believe there's a right answer. I'm not telling you what Florida State did last year, what Ole Miss is doing this year is right or wrong. And I'm not telling you the way Kelly's going about doing it is right or wrong. Eventually, we'll see. Like there will be a large enough sample size in the portal CFP era to know what's the best way to go about doing this. And it may vary program to program based on resources. I don't know. However you feel is the right answer. Because I don't think there is a right answer. It's just different approaches. And I don't think his is wrong. It's just how he's going about doing it in a way that probably, we all hope, creates longer-term stability. And so you don't have the massive pullbacks like what we're seeing right now at Florida State. I mean, I know everybody is coming at me today, and you should, because of the Bama's burning stuff. The thing that I have said consistently through that entire thing, though, is it was never about LSU. It was always about anyone but Bama. Go watch any of them. And Bama's going to lose again. I mean, they lost to Vanderbilt. They lost to Tennessee. They're a flawed football team. They're going to lose again. I'm going to laugh at them when they do. I'm going to really enjoy it, too. Believe me, I'm going to enjoy it. But LSU isn't burning. This is just what LSU is. This is what LSU's been for a quarter century. We all have this impression of LSU as this elite dominant program. And they have had more highs than any program other than Alabama in that time. LSU's won 3 national titles and played for a 4th. That's the most of any team in that era since 2003, other than Alabama. But LSU also hasn't been able to avoid the letdowns. In 24 seasons since Nick Saban showed up at LSU in the year 2000, you've had 24 seasons. This is season 25. In the previous 24, 13 double-digit win seasons, but you had 5 8-win seasons, 4 9-win seasons, a 6-win season, and the 5-win season in the COVID year. 17 of the 24 seasons, you've had at least 3 losses. That's what you are as a program. You're a solid program whose floor is high, and every half decade, every 5 to 7 years, you bust through and win a championship. That's what you've been for a quarter century, and that's what you are right now. You're just in that zone right now where your floor is high, but you're not quite ready to bust through. The 2025 class, the 2026 class, supplementing with the portal, should get you there in one of these next 3 seasons. The question is, are y'all patient enough and willing to wait for that breakthrough, which is coming because it has, for a guy that ate grass and a guy that, well, let me just say, for Les Miles and for Ed Ogeron, who aren't quite the coach that Nick Saban or Brian Kelly are. The resources are here. The talent base is here. And it's going to happen for Brian Kelly as well. He's just choosing to take a more measured path to it that might be more sustainable. It's not fun. And Saturday is inexcusable. Like, I can stomach a loss. How you lost reeks of ill preparation and all the things that people have said. And you're not wrong. You're not wrong about any of that. But I think Brian Kelly also isn't wrong with the way he's going about building his roster and his program. His early missteps set you back. He's fixed it, and it's very clearly moving in the right direction. Got to be patient. Keep building that roster. All right, it's after further review. Let me know if you got a reaction. I actually left 2 segments open today just for listener interaction. So bottom of this hour in about 15 minutes, and in hour number 3 as well. So if you want to get in emails, tweets, texts, get them in. I'll get to as many of your questions, comments that you have. We'll interact today. Let me knock out a quick break. Come back. A little more from what Darren Rizzi had to say today after the Saints win. And also, Jameis will be starting for the Browns. That's official when they come to the Dome on Sunday.
After further review.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Go to getgordon.com, getgordon.com. I just got it into my inbox, y'all. Over at Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys, every year around the holidays, Gordon does his annual bicycle giveaway. And that launches Wednesday, so in 2 days. It's going to be really cool. It's going to give kiddos in our community across the state the opportunity to win one of 488 bicycles, courtesy of Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. So again, this starts on Wednesday. Registration opens Wednesday, so not yet, but it'll be over at GordonGives.com, GordonGives.com. You'll have until December 8th to register. So don't feel like you got to run and do it right now. But it's a great thing that Gordon does, and it's something I admire so much as not only a great attorney, but also a good man, husband, father, good steward of our community. He does awesome things like this. And around the holiday times and around Christmas, it's a really cool thing to do. So make sure you go to GordonGives.com. Get Gordon and get it done.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram can get you in a new 2024 Ram 1500 truck for only $32,898. $32,898 for a new Ram 1500 truck. All new Bayou Automotive vehicles come with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial properties. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
The best kept secret.
Further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
Saw this on Michael Cobble's Twitter. LSU has been fined $250,000 by the SEC because of the LSU students throwing debris onto the field during the Alabama game. Cobble notes the SEC now requires LSU to use all available security, stadium, television, video to identify individuals and prohibit them from any future LSU athletics events for the 2024-2025 season. That's an impossible ask. I've always thought about that. You know, people get like a lifetime ban for games and stuff like that. Like, you know, like the guys at the Yankees game who are like pulling the ball out of
yes, Mookie Betts.
Betts. Oh my God, I totally had a brain fart. Out of Mookie Betts' glove. They're like, they got banned from Yankee Stadium. Like those guys can't jump on like one of the ticketing apps, go get a ticket in section 184 or 130 and get in the game. Of course they will. You say what you will, you do what you do. Hey, but by the way, Stop throwing stuff on the field, you morons. Freaking same moron students that yell STTDB and all that ridiculous stuff. Same idiots that run on the field after you beat Ole Miss. Ole Miss thinks they're a big deal because LSU's run on the field like the last 3 times you beat them. Stop running on the field. Grow up. Morons. Unless if you're not a moron. But if you threw trash on the field, you're a moron. Kirk Herbstreit, eviscerated you on national television, and he was right to do it. All right, it's After Further Review. Thanks for being here with us. Monday show is brought to you by Relief Windows. Always love telling you about our friends over at Supper Club. Speaking of game day, how about Supper Club? Did you see it?
I missed it.
Oh, you were watching game day?
I was, but I was in the shower at that point. I missed
Chef
it.
Layton and Supper Club provided the food. Stanford Steve said it's the best meal he's ever had with game day. Chef Layton brought some. Tell you all about the prime rib on Thursday nights. Chef Layton brought some prime rib out there. Brought the lamb chops as well. I mean, are they good? They good on college game day Saturday morning. Hey, Supper Club closed Sunday, Monday, so they're closed today. Reopened on Tuesday. So get your reservations. SupperClubBTR.com. SupperClubBTR.com. Hey, as a reminder, if you're trying to book your Christmas party, your holiday party, I need to actually check with the guys over there to see how much vacancy they may still available. They still have, but remember. They can host, they can partition parts of the restaurant off. If you want the private room or a larger part of the restaurant or the entire facility, they can do that at Supper Club. They'll make it work for you depending on whatever size party you're trying to host. But check them out, SupperClubBTR.com. Don't wait on that. I mean, we're getting kind of down to crunch time now. SupperClubBTR.com, SupperClubBTR.com. All right, it's official. Kevin Stefanski told reporters Monday that Jameis Winston will remain Cleveland's starter. Of course, we all know that Deshaun Watson out for the season with a torn Achilles. Second-year quarterback Dorian Thompson-Robinson from UCLA, LSU fans should remember him, was the backup the last 2 games for Jameis. Jameis started. Jameis will continue to start, meaning Jameis will start on Sunday in the Dome against the Saints, the place where he's been since the 2020 COVID season. So 4 years in New Orleans, now Jameis the backup in Cleveland, but he'll be the starter this weekend. And what I think is going to be interesting as we move through this week to delve deeper into is which Jameis we see. So Winston on the season is he's completed just under 60% of his passes for 652 yards. He's got 5 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. As they say, it is the Jameis Winston experience. So Jameis went out there and played well in the first game in place of Deshaun Watson. They beat the Ravens 29-24, and then they were home against the Chargers and got blasted 27-10 against the best scoring defense in the NFL. And Jameis didn't have a particularly great day. He was 26 of 46 for 235, a touchdown, and 3 picks because that is the Jameis Winston experience and why the Saints elected not to invest in Jameis Winston as their franchise in part. Now, I am not a Derek Carr believer, and if you gave me the choice between Jameis or Derek Carr, I would take Jameis over Derek Carr. More affordable option, roughly the same guy, maybe a little higher ceiling with Jameis, but they are what they are. But you will see Jameis in the Dome. That'll be an interesting emotional dynamic because he was beloved here as the backup and really embraced the city like a lot have, like Teddy Bridgewater before him. I mean, there have been some really popular backup quarterbacks here. So I believe Jameis will be very well received when he comes to the Dome on Sunday. Meanwhile, the Saints are trying to make it 2 in a row. Darren Rizzi met with reporters, and he was pretty clear, man. It was pretty good to hear him say, one of the big differences from that 7-game losing streak to this week when, of course, they beat Atlanta and snapped that streak was how the players really took it upon themselves to turn this thing around this week.
When the players take ownership of the locker room and the players kind of take ownership of the team, great things can happen. Anything can happen. The sky's the limit. And so when you got an AK and Derek and some of these veteran players that are able to look at their performance and say, man, I could do better. I could perform better. I could do this better. There's things I need to work on, and it's great, And so he's obviously got a lot of respect in that locker room. So when he's able to stand up in front of everybody, people listen. People listen to what he has to say. And so when you have a guy like that being the example, I'd step out of the way.
So one of the guys he mentioned there, of course, was Cam Jordan, who got his first sack of the season. Took 10 games to get it, but got his first sack of the season on Sunday against Atlanta. And the question that was asked of Rizzi, like, were you making a more concerted effort to get Cam Jordan involved?
There was a conscious decision to get him more involved. Every game plan is going to play out a little bit different. With the D-line rotation, depends on kind of who you're playing, their personnel. I think to get yesterday's game was very conducive to Cam. I think he executed very well. Quite frankly, I think probably Cam, if you talk to the defensive coaches, and from what I saw from watching the film, Cam probably had his best performance this year. And it's not only he made a couple of splash plays, just the whole 40 plays that he played were good. But yeah, I mean, listen, that may fluctuate week to week. Probably want to definitely get him more than 10 like he had the week before, and somewhere, 40 might be, his max there. But so he kind of maxed him out yesterday. But no, listen, all good. I thought he played very well.
So Cam Jordan's snap count could go up a little bit. Another guy who snap count most certainly will go up is Eric McCoy. Interesting news, if you missed it on the waiver wire, the Saints have waived center Connor McGovern. McGovern had started the last 5 games at center for the Saints, and very, very clearly the Saints waiving McGovern is an indicator that Eric McCoy is coming back. They activated McCoy's practice window. Shane Lemieux also back from IR last week, who, remember, Lemieux started after McCoy got hurt. When Lemieux was injured is when they brought McGovern in, signed him off the street, and within a couple of days he was playing on Monday Night Football against Kansas City Chiefs. But it looks like McCoy, the original target date for McCoy's return was Week 13 against the Rams, but Ross Jackson over at LouisianaSports.net was reporting all along that McCoy was trying to accelerate that timeline. It looks like it could be this week before the bye against the Cleveland Browns. So stay tuned, but waiving Connor McGovern means you very could likely be in line to get Eric McCoy back this week. All right, it's After Further Review. Monday show is brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank vinyl siding. Oh, yeah, they do shutters as well at Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. All right, when we come back, I want some of your interaction about LSU falling to Alabama and the direction of the program, as we've talked about a good bit throughout the day today. We'll get some of your texts, emails, tweets, all next. It's AFR.
After Further Review.
If you're thinking about selling your home, get your phone out right now. Call or text Darren James. I'm going to give you his cell phone number. It's 335-7666, 335-7666. That's Darren's cell number, 335-7666, or agent225.com. That's agent225.com. Call Darren, text him. That's no joke. That is Darren James's cell phone number. If you're thinking about selling your home, you want to do business with the best realtor, the realtor that sells more homes than anyone, that's Darren James. Hey, listen, I always tell you about November, the number one home selling month in our market every single year, because a lot of people want to be in that home for the new year, new home for the holidays. You got to get started today. You got to call Darren James. 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com for Darren James.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
The only thing scary about the deals at Bayou Ford is if you miss out on them, like $15,000 off F-150. Bayou Ford has $15,000 off Ford F-150. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Wall-to-wall TVs mean you'll see every touchdown in HD. Place your bets and feel the thrill of every play with our DraftKings Sportsbook. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. BRAC, your #1 park system in the nation.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 7.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and Citizens Bank and Trust are bringing you the ultimate holiday gift with our Home for the Holidays sweepstakes. Imagine 2025 with your rent or mortgage covered up to $18,000. We're here to make sure your holidays are a whole lot brighter. Just sign up at 1045ESPN.com and you could be living stress-free next year. Your winner will be notified on December 20th.
Look, this is the same exact place we were last year, coming off of a loss. And so I'm going to get asked the question, what do you have to play for? All of these things. You know, you could ask Ole Miss that when they went and beat Georgia, right? You know, there's nothing to play for. Now they've put themselves with 2 losses and what they feel is in the mix. We're in the same position. We've got 2 losses. Let's see where it ends up at the end of the year. What's more important is that we have to play more consistent offense, defense, and special teams. That's what's most important, not the playoffs, not anything else. Consistency in the way we play in and play out is the most important thing.
I don't know if it's coach speak or if it's legitimate. It kind of feels a little bit like Nick Saban's the process answer. I don't think anybody is going to be super pumped here and say the playoff isn't what's important, but obviously that is. I think it's you take care of the details and that gets you into the playoff potentially. What's interesting was hearing him say, we got a second loss. Of course, it's the team's third loss, but it's only the second conference loss. I'm not going to conveniently ignore the loss to USC in the opener because that is pretty pivotal. Now, with the benefit of hindsight, had you found a way to win that game, you'd be right now, instead of at 6-3, you'd be at 7-2. Now, who's to say if they win that game, maybe things don't change differently as you go along? I don't know. But and you can't play the if game. What if the flags don't come out on the pick sixes that Nuss threw against South Carolina? Maybe you lose that one. I don't know. There's close games. It goes either way as the season goes along. But if you're playing the hypothetical, we look back at USC, and that's a 5-loss team right now. And if you had managed to win that game, you're 2 losses in conference play, but you're effectively in the same spot that Ole Miss is in right now, feeling really good about your playoff chances. But instead now your only way into the playoff is through the SEC championship, which, as crazy as it sounds, and very unlikely. I'm not in any way sitting here trying to tell you that, hey guys, stick with it. I am not carrying water for the program. Y'all know that. Like, if I think they're going to be good, I'm going to tell you. If I think they're going to win, I'm going to tell you. If I think they're going to lose, I'm going to tell you. A lot of y'all don't like that sometimes, but you know that's true. What Kelly's talking about, though, mathematically is the possibility of being a 2-loss team that gets into the SEC championship game. And if you're in the SEC championship game and win it, then you're a top 4 seed with a bye. You can't do that without winning your next 3, so that's the most important thing when he talks about improving. So Brian Kelly also, was asked on Monday, over these next or final 3 weeks of the season, like, what can you actually fix, especially with directly relating to the defense and stopping mobile quarterbacks?
I think it's reasonable to look at, how we can, put our players in better positions to succeed each and every week. So what do we have to do to help us? And that's run the ball better. That's going to be something that can happen right away. What can we do to help in the quarterback run game? Can we play more multiple coverage looks? Can we be in different fronts? I know if you watch, we played some 5-down defensive fronts, to help in those situations. So I think there's always the opportunity to grow and get better in the season. And as I said, there's a lot for this football team to look forward to. We've got, the opportunity to, again, finish the season strong and look towards a minimum of a 10-win season again. And that's important to this program.
Look, winning 9 games, going 9-3 and winning a bowl game to get to 10 is window dressing. Nobody here is excited about it. And that's context. If you went 9-3 and won a bowl game every year at South Carolina, that's effectively what Steve Spurrier did. They'll build you a statue. They'll name the stadium after you. Here, going 9-3 and winning what was that bowl game they played in? What was that thing called again?
The ReliaQuest Bowl.
And they beat Wisconsin. Barely even remember it. It don't matter. And the year before they played in the Cheez-It Bowl. Come on. Purdue. They played Purdue in the Cheez-It Bowl when Purdue had all the opt-outs. Aiden O'Connell, remember, didn't play in that game. Who cares? That's not. No, I'm not expecting you to get excited. It's a glorified exhibition. So yeah, I'd rather you be 9-3 and win a bowl game to get to 10 than be 9-3, lose your bowl game and be at 9-4, or be at 8-4. I want you to win as many as you can, but that's not the thing that's going to move the needle. Brian Kelly's here to compete for and win national championships. A couple of comments that came in. One from Matt on the text line. You can text us 225-396-4400, 396-4400. He said, at best, LSU can only repeat the success it had for the third year in a row, 9-3 and a bowl win. That being said, how long does the buyout need to be before changes are made, especially with $55 million being too crazy to spend right now? By the way, it's beyond $55 million. I think we did this math before the season, and if I'm not mistaken, if LSU wanted to fire Kelly after this year, it would be closer to $68 million. Remember, he's owed 90% of the remainder of his contract. So you are not firing Brian Kelly. Anybody saying that today, it's one of the first things that T-Bob and I talked about on Whiskey and Wine as soon as the game ended. People who are asking that question, you've got to stop asking that question because it is not realistic. This is an LSU athletic department right now and a football program that is feverishly trying to work its way through revenue share models, continuing to increase funding for the collective so you can be even more competitive with NIL. This is an athletic department that is not in any way in a position to stroke a $70 million check to buy out Brian Kelly and his staff. No chance it's happening. Micah sent one that said, he said, where I think it went wrong is the $100 million contract that was basically guaranteed. Do we think LSU would be better if the contract wasn't guaranteed and was coaching games as if he's fine until at least 2028-ish? Here's the problem. You don't get Brian Kelly from Notre Dame without the contract. You see, he could have stayed at Notre Dame forever. They weren't firing him, and he was quite comfortable there. He'd been there for a dozen years. You pried him away at 60 years old because you gave him that contract and the opportunity to recruit this state and build a roster that could win a national championship. That's something that was not possible at Notre Dame. He took Notre Dame as far as he could. Got him to a BCS championship game, got him into the playoff twice. What happened every time they got there? They got walloped because their talent wasn't good enough to compete at that level. You could win a lot of games and get close, but you were never going to break through. Here, you can break through. It's why he's here. But you weren't going to get him out without that kind of contract. We can all look at it with the benefit of hindsight. But at the time of the hire, and you can fact check me or anybody, felt like it was pretty well received when they hired Brian Kelly. You see, the contract, people only care about the contract if things are going badly. Nobody at Alabama ever cared that they were paying Nick Saban $11, $12 million, whatever he wanted. Doesn't matter. whatever contract Michigan gave Jim Harbaugh. Remember how they talked about how we had like revenue share and like stock options and stuff? Like nobody melted over that. The guy won a national championship. If you're winning, it doesn't matter. Only when you start losing do people start talking about the money. So they're not firing him this year. You need to not even have that conversation because it's not plausible. They're not firing him after next year either. What you have to do is figure out how can you push forward to break through where you are right now, which is in this 9-win regular season, bowl game to get to 10, and break through to be a playoff team that can compete for a national championship. And if you weren't here at the start of this hour, that's what I laid out. And we're going to get that posted on demand. You catch it on the podcast, the After Further Review podcast, or AFR YouTube channel if you missed it. But I laid out my thoughts on why LSU is where they are now and how they can break through. And ultimately, the answer is your roster has to improve. Brian Kelly's not going to come out and say it. He's tap danced around it as much as you can. But let me ask you to you this way. Specifically look at the LSU defense. How many NFL dudes do you see there right now? Like, really think about, you know what? I'm short on time. Muse is going to do Tigers and the Pros. And then to start hour 3, let me pick this up. Because I want to, like, actually map this out to illustrate it. Because sometimes, you know what I got earlier today? I got a question. It was like, Matt, how was Tennessee and South Carolina and Vanderbilt and South Florida and all these teams able to stop Jalen Miller from running and LSU couldn't? Surely their talent isn't better than LSU's. I actually want to map that out because it kind of is. We'll get to that, though. It's After Further Review. We're glad you're here. Stick around.
AFR.
Brought to you by Duplessis Builders. Man, love telling you about Derek Duplessis, my friends over at Duplessis Builders. You'll check them out at duplessisbuilders.net or get on by the showroom. This is the time. Like, if you want to be swimming in the spring, and when I say swimming, I mean like everything done, including the landscaping. Start now. Because the process of building a pool isn't as simple as call and in a couple weeks you got a pool. There's permitting. They obviously have to do the plans. They got to get you on the schedule. Go through the pool build itself, which is, I've told you, Derek is up front. That is going to be a 2-month process because they do not cut corners. That's how they're able to give you a 10-year workmanship warranty. They built something made to last. And then, of course, landscaping and have it all ready to go. Start today. Make that phone call today. Go to the website to begin. duplessisbuilders.net, duplessisbuilders.net.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Bank & Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank & Trust, the bank that cares about you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a $1 million.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
All right, wrapping up hour number 2. Sports Center's coming up. Get you caught up on national headlines right now. Muso, Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
I'm sure we all saw the reports earlier this morning that the Cincinnati Bengals were working out former LSU running back Leonard Fournette. Jordan Schultz report is now reporting that the Bengals are not planning on signing Leonard Fournette at this time. Leonard has not been with the team yet this season, did spend time with the Bills in 2023, appearing in just 2 games.
Lenny was at Tiger Stadium on Saturday.
Lenny was at Tiger Stadium. He was a guest captain at Tiger Stadium on Saturday. Tyrann Mathieu, big day for the New Orleans Saints, game-clinching interception, but to go along with that, 3 stops and 3 other passes defense. Played really well after struggling for the last few weeks. Say that about the whole team. Jaden Daniels yesterday for the Washington Commanders. 17 out of 34, 202 through the air. Was sacked 3 times. Took a little bit off of his passing yardage. Did not find the end zone on the ground nor through the air, and his team did unfortunately take the loss. Patrick Queen was on the other side, though, and was once again the Pittsburgh Steelers' leading tackler. 7 stops, 2 of those for a loss, and you also throw in 1 pass defense. PQ really stuffing the stat sheet. Sunday Night Football was absolutely insane between the Lions and the Texans. Danielle Hunter, second leading stop getter for Houston, 7 of them in the ballgame. Did have a hit on the quarterback. Didn't record a sack. That's been a rarity, obviously, for Danielle. How about this Devin White as well on the field? Told you a few weeks ago that he signed with the Texans. 3 stops in the game for number 45 in that one. And, of course, it was the Lions, though, that got the victory. Couple NBA notes to get to you. Big night for Tari Eason Sunday versus the Pistons. 27 minutes, all of those off the bench, but just missed the double-double. 18 points, 9 rebounds for Tari Eason, a cool +7. And we'll wrap it up. Naz Reid, all of his minutes off the bench as well with 23, but did have 15 points, added 3 rebounds, a cool +10 for Naz. T-Wolves lost it by 1 point.
Should have stayed.
Should have stayed. That's Tigers in the pros.
Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, or you can always walk into any one of their locations. 9 locations in all. Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Lafayette, Shreveport, and online at lmfj.com. Hey, guys, it's never too early to start thinking about what is going to be in the red box under the tree Christmas morning. Diamonds are always a hit. It's a classic gift. Diamond studs, diamond tennis bracelets. They've got stackable rings. Every lady in your life wants that red box under the tree. Thrill her with Lee Michaels. Great customer service. Remember, they even have a return policy. You get her something for Christmas and maybe she doesn't love it, she can return it. It's something that she likes. It's at Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where they always specialize in the Lee Michaels experience. lmfj.com, lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Okay, y'all, it is After Further Review. Glad you're with us. You can always email us, matt@1045espn.com. You can tweet us at Matt Moscona. You can jump in the Buy Ford YouTube chat on the Watch 1045 ESPN YouTube channel, or you can text in the 396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. By the way, shout out to Matt McMahon. The LSU basketball team moved to 2-0. Scored a win over Alabama State on Sunday, 74-61. Cam Carter and Jordan Sears each had 18 in the second half. Tigers were down at half, 32-26. And then right about the under 8 mark, they kind of hit their kick. And they went on a 34-11 run in the second half and put the game away. Alabama State went cold, large part because LSU's defense really, really ramped up. Bigger test coming up on Thursday as the Tigers will be in Manhattan, Kansas, to take on the Kansas State Wildcats. So bigger test. We'll see how they do. But those 3 transfer guards, rim protection is nice with Damian Collins. Good start to the season for the Tigers, 2-0. We'll see how they measure up when they go up to take on K-State on Thursday. All right, Sports Center's coming up. We'll get to the national headlines. It's AFR.
AFR.
Right about Parish Restoration. Remember, kill mold, remove odor, sanitize your space. That's Parish Restoration. It's the patented non-toxic dry fog. I think about it all the time. If you got odor from, let's say, smoke, either from a fire or from cigarette smoke, maybe you live in an apartment or a home where a smoker lived before and you want to purge that smell, Parish can come in, spray that patented non-toxic dry fog, knock it out. Maybe odor from sweat. Maybe it's a gym, workout facility, something like that. Maybe it's pet odor in an apartment complex or a home that you live in. You want to get rid of that pet odor? Easy. Simple. You don't need to go have the carpets professionally cleaned. Just call Parish. They'll dry fog the entire home. They come in, they spray the dry fog, they let it dwell. As soon as the fog dissipates, boom, you're in a sanitized, mold-free, clean-smelling home or office building. It's over at Parish Restoration. ParishBuilt.com. Hit the restoration tab. ParishBuilt.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram can get you in a new 2024 Ram 1500 truck for only $32,898. $32,898 for a new Ram 1500 truck. All new Bayou Automotive vehicles come with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
the best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Cowboys pass rusher Micah Parsons quite candid after the Eagles' loss when it came to Coach Mike McCarthy. Among other things, Parsons, citing guard Zach Martin, said they want to win games for those type of legends who put in more time and work than Mike McCarthy ever did. Wrong approach there taken by Parsons, says ESPN NFL analyst Rex Ryan.
You can have some private issue, all right? Go to the owner, go to whoever, go to Mike McCarthy. But why the hell do you think you need to say that? Who do you think gets blamed for everything? He gets it anyway. And so why are you piling on? You know what? He's professional as hell. He hadn't once blamed a damn player, ever.
McCarthy said he and Parsons did have a conversation this morning and handled these things like men should handle them. He added Parsons' intent was not to question the coach. Today, Bears coach Matt Eberflus said he's still in the process of deciding changes to help the team's struggling offense. He made it clear Caleb Williams is still their starting quarterback. The SEC fined Ole Miss $350,000, LSU $250,000 for incidents involving fans during Saturday's home games.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive offers a great price and round-the-clock protection when bundling home and auto. It's one of those rare times where you could save money and get something great. Bundle today at Progressive.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's rock!
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
And Mr. Toby Tumpley. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. We get to our college football takeaways, bottom of this hour. Otter Locks as well. Jimmy's picks for tonight are already posted, by the way, at LouisianaSports.net. If you want to go to LouisianaSports.net homepage or the sports betting page, and you'll see Otter Locks, which are already posted, or Jimmy will have them here in about 45 minutes from right now. One of the things I've said that I want to do a lot today, because I understand there's a lot of feeling after Saturday's LSU loss to Alabama, is make sure we get a lot of your interaction. So you can email us, tweet us, text the show, jump in the Bayou Ford YouTube chat, and Watch 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. Get your feelings in. We'll get to as much of it as we can here over the final hour of the show. Before we went to break, I wanted to kind of draw this comparison about the defense. I got a question from a listener a bit ago that asked about, it's from Vincent. He said, Matt, you say we don't have the players to stop a running quarterback, but how did Vanderbilt do it? South Florida, South Carolina, Tennessee, they got it done. They're much better than LSU with players. Seems weird. Thanks for your time. So Vincent's question is a good one, because when you look at what Brian Kelly said after the game about defending a quarterback, it boils down to him saying, like, we know how to do it. There's only really two things that you can do. You got to coach it. And even today, on Monday, when Brian Kelly met with reporters, he was asked about it. I don't know what number this is used, but it was when he was talking about the mobile quarterbacks and being hurt in the running game. And he said, one was a defensive call that they wish they had back. Do you have that one? Okay. All right. Don't worry about it. Bottom line is, I think the answer is you got to get better talent. And I'm not excusing the coaching. But Tennessee and South Carolina objectively are better in their defensive front seven than LSU. South Carolina has 2 stud defensive ends, and both of their interior players, I think, are better than anybody you have on the interior. They're better in their front seven. Tennessee has not allowed an opponent to score 20 points on it yet this year. They're allowing 12 points a game. They're really good. Now, yes, about Vanderbilt, fair. South Florida, same thing. I'd have to go watch the film. I was at Don Juan doing postgame whenever they were playing South Florida, and I wasn't locked into that game. Maybe it was just what was their approach? Were they trying to run Jalen Milroe the way that they did against LSU? What was very clear is that against LSU, Alabama's approach was, we are running the quarterback at this defense. When Marcel Reed went into the game, he threw 2 passes. It was very clear they were going to run the ball at LSU's defense. Now, maybe that wasn't Alabama's path in all the other games they played. And to a degree, against Vanderbilt, he ran it 7 times. Milroe ran 7 times for 10 yards. Now, remember, sacks are factored into a rushing total, which is stupid. But they were trailing for a lot of that game and were probably throwing to get back into it. But I will tell you that if you just look, let me ask you this question. When you look at LSU's defense, how many NFL draft picks do you see there? Think about it for a second. Just think about it. How many guys do you think are NFL draftable players on that defense? Look, Mel Kiper does his big board, and a part of that is he does position rankings, the top 10 players in the draft at every position. He's got 2 LSU players. One is Harold Perkins, who's injured, and the other one is Braden Swinson. That's it. We see the logo and the helmet, the jersey, and all that stuff. We think, LSU. But the reality is, Blake Baker, I think, is squeezing every ounce of ability out of this defense right now. They were great for 2.5 quarters against Texas A&M, against that quarterback. Because I think what LSU has improved at is they cover pretty well with Ashton Stamps and with Zy Alexander. And the best part of your defense is your edge pressure. Swinson, Savion Jones, Deshaun Womack, the creative ways that Blake Baker brings pressure. I think you'd agree. I don't think I'm saying anything that's too out of line yet. So look at the defense. I got a world of respect for the way Gio Paez is playing. I don't think he's a draftable player. I think he's going to get into a camp and may have an opportunity to make a roster. Braden Fajoko did that in 2019. Didn't get drafted. Made a camp, hung around, and now he's on a second NFL team, is playing. Paris Shan, God bless him. He's a 270-pound guy playing interior tackle because he knows all the positions. That's a far cry from what you're used to seeing on the interior of an LSU defensive line. I mean, you got 2 linebackers, Whit Weeks, Greg Penn. Weeks, when his day comes, is going to be a draftable player. But after those 2 guys, you're rotating 2 freshmen behind him. And I think Devon Keys and Xavier Atkins have the potential and athletic ability to be really good players, but they're not even playing right now. And I don't think you can argue that Major Burns, Jordan Gilbert, or Sage Ryan, or any of them are going to be drafted. Is anything I've said, check me, guys, Muse, Paulie, is anything I've said to this point outlandish? Do you disagree with anything?
No, I don't disagree with anything, no.
Nobody else you think could be a drafted player? Am I missing somebody?
The only other one I would throw in, it would be a late day 3 guy, is Savion Jones, but that's the only other one I would throw in.
Okay. Paulie, anything?
I had the same guy, Musa. I would have said Savion, but it would have been late.
Okay. So late round pick was Savion, Swinson, who I think could be a day 2 guy, and Perkins, who's not even playing. That's it. Like, let's look at your championship teams. 2019, Caleb Von Chasson, first-round pick. Patrick Queen, first-round pick. Derek Stingley, highest drafted cornerback ever. Christian Fulton was a second-round pick, probably could have been a first-round pick. Grant Delpit, second-round pick, probably should have been a first-round pick, but for the injuries, won the Thorpe. Jacoby Stevens was a former 5-star who went undrafted again because of injuries. Jacob Phillips was a third-round pick of the Browns, I believe. I think that's right. Jacob Phillips was a 3. Damone Clark was on that team as well. Got drafted after the 21 season, but Damone Clark played a lot on that team. Rashard Lawrence was a 3 or a 4? He was a 5? Either. Okay. A 5. And he's a starter for Arizona. You had he was a 4. Okay. Split the difference. You see my point? That was Chasson, Lawrence, Queen, Fulton, Clark, Phillips, Delpit, Stingley. 8. You had an NFL roster. We're struggling to find 2 on this team. Go back to 2011. Mingo, first rounder. Montgomery, well, we know what happened. Sam was an All-American. We know what happened. Benny Logan was a third rounder, played a long time in the NFL. Brockers, first rounder. Kevin Minter was a second rounder. Mo Claiborne was a top 10 pick. Eric Reed was a first rounder. Y'all, like, it ain't hard. Where's the talent? Like, Blake Baker, this defense a year ago was the worst defense in the history of the program statistically. And it ain't like they went and made it over and went ham in the portal. They brought in Jordan Gilbert, Gio Paez, JVR Suggs, right? Anybody else I'm missing? That's it. Those are the guys you brought in. You wanted to go after Dominic Williams from TCU. Kid wanted $1 million. You told him to kick rocks. Okay. You wanted the kid, what was his name, from Michigan State that ended up going to Miami?
Simeon Barrow.
Well, I always want to say Solomon Thomas. I'm like, that's the guy from Stanford that was the number 2 overall pick that went to the Niners. I don't know why I can never remember Simeon Barrow. Whatever. Point is, like, you don't have dudes. And so Blake Baker, and I don't mean for this to come across as like I'm disparaging these young guys and taking all the blame away from the coaching, because ultimately the coaches assemble the roster. And you've had some unfortunate stuff happen. Like, if you could have gotten Mason Smith or Mekhi Wingo, either of those guys back, awesome. You didn't. You know, like, you've had misses in the portal at cornerback. Corey Raymond's getting them coached up. I think they're better this year. I think Stamps has improved a lot. Zy Alexander's played well. I think Blake Baker and the staff are squeezing every amount of ability out of this defense. And the guys are, I think they are playing really hard. Like, I don't think it's an issue where the defense is not trying. Like, I think they're working their ass off and playing really hard. I just think in certain instances, they are limited. Deshaun Spears, athletically, is better at safety than anybody that's playing. Deshaun Spears is more athletic than Jordan Gilbert, who, by the way, every time he makes a hit, his shoulder pops out. That's hard to play safety when your shoulder keeps popping out. Sage Ryan, better at safety than at corner, still not a draftable guy. Deshaun Spears has the ability one day to maybe be a first rounder or a day 2 guy. Kylan Jackson, Javen Toviano, Gabe Rutherford's playing a lot. You got a freshman in Don McKinley. I talked about Xavier Atkins and Devon Key, some of these freshmen. Like, you've got young, talented guys. But you're choosing to play. Like, I asked Brian Kelly this earlier today. I asked him point blank because he keeps saying, you know, there is no waiver wire. You can't go make trades or anything. The guys you got are the guys you got. And one of the things we've seen defensively from LSU, remember, that I'll oversimplify this. They played USC. It was a good team. They leaned on their veterans, right? Sage Ryan started at corner because he had played corner. It was that kind of thing. After that game, they spent the next 4 games just rotating dudes in a ton on defense to find out what they had. I think they looked at it and said, there's not a risk of losing any of these games, so let's go play a bunch of guys and see what we have. They almost lost South Carolina, but they won it. And then they went in their bye, and Brian Kelly famously said, hey, look, the time for rolling guys in and out is done. We got to decide who our guys are and roll with it. And they did, and they chose to go with all the veterans. Coming out of the bye, going into Ole Miss, they went with all the veterans. They played really well against Ole Miss and really well against Arkansas and really well for 2.5 quarters against Texas A&M. And then they ran into the thing that they can't stop because they don't have the dudes to stop Jalen Milroe. They don't have the dudes to stop Lenora Sellers. I don't know if they're going to be able to stop Diego Pavia. This week against Florida, they should function much better, regardless of whether or not Lagway plays. They should be much better against that offense than what they've seen the last game and a half. But like I asked Brian Kelly this point blank. I was like, are you at a point where you're considering, now he didn't answer the question how I wanted him to, where you're considering maybe playing some of the younger guys who played a lot early that haven't played really in the last 4 weeks? He took it to mean like, are you considering redshirting them?
We have, from a defensive standpoint, it is all hands on deck. If we feel like you can help us, we have already identified the players that if they can help us, the 4-game situation relative to redshirting is out the window. So if we feel like there's a player that can come in and help our defense, we've already talked to the young man. We've already got clearance. We've already said, can we play you? And they've said, yes, I'm not worried about my redshirt. So anybody that plays from now on out, it's that they've got games remaining not to hit that 4-game threshold, or they've given us clearance to do that. We're going to play them.
I don't think I don't know that there's even anybody on that fence as far as a redshirt year. I'm more looking at it in terms of over the course of the month where a guy like Deshaun Spears hasn't played a ton. Has he gotten better to where you can now justify inverting the snaps between him and Sage Ryan or Jordan Gilbert? Like, if you look at his snap count, I'm just using Deshaun Spears because he played a lot early. Against USC, he played 2 snaps. Against Nichols, he played 28. Then he began starting. 44 against South Carolina, 37 against UCLA, 37 against South Alabama. Then remember we said, they go into the bye. Who can they count on? They went with the veterans. 3 snaps against Ole Miss, 5 snaps against Arkansas, 13 against A&M. That's when Gilbert got hurt again. And then just 8 against Alabama. He's not playing anymore. They've gone with the veterans. Over the past 5 weeks, has a guy like that improved enough to where you could justify playing him again because he's athletically better? I don't know. But that's something that I'll be looking for over the next 3 weeks. Do we see more of Spears? Do we see more of Kylan Jackson? Do we see more of Javen Toviano? Do we see more of Dominic McKinley, of Gabe Relaford? I don't know the answer to that. If they're playing the best they got, then playing and maximizing with the best you got is just not going to be good enough against a quarterback that can run like Milroe or like Lenora Sellers or like Marcel Reed. So you should be good this week against Florida. I can't say the same thing a week from Saturday when you play Vanderbilt because Diego Pavia is going to run it. He's a problem. Wait and see. All right, it's after further review. Monday shows are brought to you by Relief Windows. Quick break. If you want to react to any of that, get in. Email us, Matt at 1045ESPN.com. Tweet us at Matt Moscona. Jump in the Bayou Ford YouTube chat or text 225-396-4400, 396-4400. It's AFR.
AFR.
Hey, I want to take 60 seconds to remind you about our friends over at Action Industries. Action, INDINC.com. Action Industries Incorporated. As a matter of fact, going to have a meeting on Wednesday with my guy Chuck over at Action Industries. Looking forward to popping in over to the Geismar office. Remember, they got 2 offices. They have the Belrose office and then Highway 30 in Geismar. They've been servicing the petrochemical refinery markets as a great industrial contractor for 42 years. But the thing that I love the most about Action Industries is they know who they are, right? They're not the company that's going to bid on one of your mega projects, your $100, $200 million projects. That's not what they do. If you have the 100-person project, that's their sweet spot. If you have the 100-person project and you hired the mega contractor, but you're way down their priority list, that's where you need Action Industries. not only can they supplement those mega projects, but also you become their number one priority. It's Action Industries. Learn more online. Action, INDINC.com.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered gold. Breck, your number one park system in the nation.
At Atmos Energy, our Smart Choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
Trey Griggs sent a text. You're welcome to send in your calls, text, emails, tweets into the show. He said, Matt, do you think anything about Saturday negatively affects the conversation about Bryce Underwood coming in with Michigan looming? Fans booing, throwing bottles, leaving early, outcome of the game. Flatly, no. I think... So, I fully understand. I fully understand the perspective of a fan that looks at the game Saturday, everything surrounding it, and goes, man, that sucks. You had Bryce Underwood and DJ Pickett and Harlan Berry and Jakeem Stewart and all these big-time prospects at that game, and you got absolutely dog-walked on your home field. That sucks. It does. I am not in any way hand-waving that at all. But what I can tell you is, over all the years that I've done this, and Shay will be with us tomorrow, I have learned, and I'll tell you when I learned this lesson about recruiting and how fans, media, you and me, view something differently than a recruit does. And it was 2008. So LSU wins the national championship in 2007. They get Russell Shepard committed. And Russell was the number one player in the country, right? Number one player, number one quarterback, all that stuff. And he was a guy that everybody wanted. And you remember what happened in 2008. LSU lost 5 games. They went 7-5, won the bowl game, got to 8. And it was this big concern, like, man, are you going to lose Russ and that great 2008 class? Pull up the 2008 signing class, too, please, by the way. I guess it would have been the 09 signing class. Forgive me, the 09 signing class. Pull up LSU's 2009 signing class. And you still ended up signing the number one class in the country. Because what I learned was it's 1, sometimes 2, sometimes 3 years worth of relationships and building those relationships with the recruits. And the recruits are never really motivated by one game, sometimes not even a full season of results. That's not binary. It's not everybody. And it's changed now, of course, because you've got NIL. And the money component of it could change a lot. But usually it's the season before they sign that tends to be the most impactful on guys. Do you have it? Did you pull it up? So Shep was in there. Ruben Randall.
Shep was in there. Mingo was in there. Montgomery.
Ruben?
I don't see Ruben.
Or was Ruben 8? Ruben might have been
Ruben
08.
was probably 8.
Okay.
Craig Lawston.
Lawston was a 5-star.
Michael Ford. Michael Brockers.
Yeah. Okay. These are all the guys that were part of that 09 signing class coming off of the 5-loss season. And that was a 5-loss season where it was a disaster. You didn't just lose 5 games. You were the first defending national champion ever to give up 50 twice. You did it against Georgia and against Florida. I mean, it was like bad. The Malvito experiment, you blew out Malvito after 1 year. So I learned that then. Recruits look at it differently than you and I do. Bryce Underwood showed up with his whole family wearing a diamond-studded tiger chain, man. Like, the only thing, and I know a lot of people saw this today as well, but so Connor Stallions, the former Michigan staffer who was, wearing disguises and stuff like that, is now coaching Bryce Underwood's team. I don't know if you saw this, but like he's coaching Bryce Underwood's high school team in Michigan. This is like On Three's got it. A lot of these places have it. So I don't think this is a faux report. Like I've seen it from enough legitimate sources to where, this was Barstool. I mean, you could say whether Barstool's legitimate or not, but I mean, Portnoy's the Michigan guy, right? Connor Stallions left his coaching job to join another high school staff in Michigan to try to flip Bryce Underwood, apparently, to Michigan. So Connor Stallions is working at Bellevue now, Bryce Underwood's high school. I'll just continue to tell you the conversation I've had with boosters, collective people, LSU coaches, recruiting people. Bryce Underwood is all in on LSU. The thing that could potentially change it is the Godfather offer. Like if Michigan or some other school came in and dumped the pile of money in his lap that you just couldn't ignore, that's maybe the only thing that could cause him to flip from LSU. But no, I don't think. I think if anything, what coaches do in a game like that is they come out and say, you see, you can play right away. I saw a quote from On 3 today where DJ Pickett's dad was quoted. Here it is. It's from On 3. This was a piece with Steve Wiltfong. Here's a quote from DJ Pickett's dad coming off the visit to LSU. Quote, "It's about my son being happy, my son being comfortable, and my son getting on the field earlier, and we feel that spot is LSU." That is Damian Pickett, DJ Pickett's dad, coming off of the game that they were all just there watching LSU lose badly at home to Alabama. So it's a good question. It's a fair question. It's just pretty consistent that recruits see it through a different lens than you and I do. One more. Eric Johnson said, Matt, to your point, moving Frank Wilson, a recruiting coordinator, upgrading the defensive staff. We need dudes on the roster. I agree. It's a better roster we need. Hopefully, with the 25 and 26 classes, we get there. That's kind of been my contention. It's where we started the show. It's what I talked about, at the top of hour 2, if you missed it. I went through a whole I really got my thoughts together and mapped out, like, how close is LSU to competing. And ultimately, although you don't want to hear this, in 2024, you signed the 7th best class with 2 5-stars. You flipped 4 guys from A&M. You got dudes like Caden Durham, Don McKinley, Deshaun Spears, P.J. Woodland, Gabe Relaford, Tradez Green, Ahmad Bro, even Aaron Burrell, who's kicking for you. You got a bunch of dudes that are freshmen that are already playing. 2025, you got one of the top classes in the country with 3 5-stars, including the number 1 quarterback, number 1 running back, number 1 cornerback. You got 4 interior defensive linemen, and you're still in play for Jakeem Stewart, another 5-star. 2026, you've got 6 of the top 70 players in the country in Louisiana, and all of them are either committed to LSU or are thought to be LSU leans. Like, your roster is going to get there. It's just not there now, and it sucks that it's not there. And you could say, why isn't it there already? It's been 3 years, and I get it. And I think it's a lot of different things. A lot of it is losing guys to the portal that's hurt your depth, losing some guys early in the draft you hope you'd kept. And a big part of it is Brian Kelly made some big mistakes when he got here. Brian Polian is your recruiting coordinator, not retaining Corey Raymond. I think those are big mistakes he made that he's rectified, but it set you back. So Saturday's results sucked. Undeniably, it sucked. Even if you lose, you can't lose like that. That's inexcusable. The result is understandable. How the result transpired is inexcusable. But look at what's coming. Like, the cavalry's on the way. It's not easy to be patient. But if you actually pull back to the 10,000-foot view, you can see, all right, you are a long distance from where you were the day Brian Kelly got hired. And this program had 39 scholarship players and had gone back-to-back seasons of 5-5 and 6-7. You're a far, far distance from that. But you're not yet where you want to be. You're still moving in the right direction. All right, we're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020. Hey, before the year ends, make sure you get by the Williamson Eye Center. Have that consultation with Dr. Blake Williamson. Get on the books for that eye surgery, that refractive procedure before the year ends. 924-2020, 924-2020, or williamsoneye.com. Remember, maybe you're not a candidate for LASIK. Evo ICL is a great alternative. That's the implantable contact lens, ICL. It's a procedure that's been around for a long time. It's just now becoming in vogue, and Dr. Blake Williamson has been doing it for years over at the Williamson Eye Center. Explore all your options and see how you can see 2020 without contacts or glasses at the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020, 924-2020, or williamsoneye.com. Okay, y'all, quick break. We'll come back. Jimmy Ott in 15 minutes for Otter Locks. When we return, Muse, Paulie, and I give you our college football takeaways from the weekend that was. Don't you move. It's AFR.
AFR.
We are expecting a little cool down this week. I'm not sure if you've looked at the future forecast, but going to get down into the 50s by Thursday. Actually, Friday, the low is 50 degrees on Friday. So, been telling y'all, the cooler temps are on the way. You're going to crank up that heater. Before you do, make sure our friends at River City's 1 Hour Air come by, give you that preseason heater safety check. Simple. Mention the Moscona special. They'll knock $30 off the price. Give them a call to schedule it. 752-0001, 752-0001. Remember, they're always there nights, holidays, and weekends. So when you call, you're always going to talk to a living, breathing human over at River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001, 752-0001. Make sure your heater is safe, efficient for the entire long run of the cold weather months. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram can get you in a new 2024 Ram 1500 truck for only $32,898. $32,898 for a new Ram 1500 truck. All new Bayou Automotive vehicles come with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
When you can't rely on technology, you can rely on Mountain Cold Refreshment. Dave's back on. Coors Light. Choose chill.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar.
Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
Congratulations to Rhett Muir of Central. Rhett is the Week 11 winner in our 2024 Pick'em contest. Wins a Hooters wing party for 10 people. Don't forget to make your picks for round 12 by Thursday at noon. Weekly winners will receive a Hooters wing party for 10 people, and the first place season-long champion will receive a 75-inch 4K flat-screen TV and soundbar, plus free Hooters wings for an entire year. It's the 2024 College Football Pick'em, presented by Hooters.
Okay, Otter Locks in less than 10 minutes right now. Muse, Paulie, and I, we keep an eye on the college football playoff weekend. We come back, tell you 3 things that we saw. Let's do it. College football takeaways.
Another week in the books. What did we learn about the landscape of college football?
All right, Muse.
Oh, wrong fader.
Hey.
There we go. I was like, why is that not getting quiet?
I don't know.
Yeah, how about that? All right. You mean to tell me that a Mario Cristobal coach team lost a pivotal game in November? Is that what I'm hearing? What I'm hearing?
Can we give the guy a little credit for getting where they okay?
Nope. And here's why. Because you've seen this team be flawed all season long. You knew it was coming. Georgia Tech played Haynes King, played 2 quarterbacks actually flawlessly, racked up 271 yards on the ground, the most Miami has given up since the COVID season against North Carolina.
Ooh.
Who knows who's playing in that game? That was COVID. The reason I say it is, man, they had the easiest schedule going forth. They've struggled throughout. The flaws were brought to the surface. Now they'll make the ACC championship, but man, it's hard to not like SMU coming out of the ACC currently. They've looked like the best team right now. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, no worries, Muse. Show didn't end at 6 or anything. Oh, wait, it does. Oh, what are we, Muse? What are we doing? Paul, just go.
Two things play in action.
This guy.
Iowa State falls again. They dropped their second game in a row, following their 7-0 start. The Cyclones trailed 31-13 at halftime and fell behind 38-13 in the third quarter. Before scoring a couple garbage time touchdowns, Iowa State allowed 532 yards of total offense. This was to Kansas, by the way, who was 2-6 at the time. Iowa State losing ground in the Big 12 title run.
There we go. Have y'all been paying any attention at all to UCLA?
A little bit. I watched their game Friday.
They started 1-5. as we know, and it was very not good. Their only win was the win at Hawaii. They've won 3 in a row. They're at 4-5 now. So Deshaun fought. They beat Iowa on Friday, and I think 20-17 was the final. Like, hat tip to Deshaun Foster. He got clowned by everybody. The media day thing was a total joke, but he steadied them a little bit. We'll see if they can go in the right direction. Of course, if you're LSU, you want them to keep winning because that adds a little luster to that win from back in September. But UCLA, quietly creeping close toward bowl eligibility.
Matt, earlier you were asking where all the Colorado haters are at.
Yeah, where y'all at?
They're real quiet because Colorado's going to make the college football playoff this year. I firmly believe that. They control their own destiny to go to the Big 12 championship. I think they obviously have the better quarterback in the matchup with BYU. I would like them in that game as well. I think Colorado's on the inside track to the playoff.
Welcome back, Ole Miss.
No, shut up.
They knocked off Georgia.
Shut up, Paul.
They were left for dead after the LSU loss.
Said welcome back.
Welcome back.
To the playoff hunt. So, yeah, they're squarely back in the discussion after one of the best wins in the country this year. The Rebels travel to Florida next 2 weeks before finishing the home game against Mississippi State in the Egg Bowl. Ole Miss has stormed on... Oh, excuse me. This was a shot at Ole Miss. They stormed onto the field before the game was even over.
Yeah, that was a problem. Like, I'd say act like you've been there before, but you literally haven't been there before.
Lane was pissed.
They had to get everybody off the field to finish the game. It was like 16 seconds left. Idiots. Stay in the stands. That's the moral of the story. Don't run on the field, idiot. Stay in the stands. Weekly hat tip Indiana. They're 10-0. They beat Michigan 20-15. They've beaten everybody up to that point by at least 14 points, so a closer call than they've had. They get an open date, and then they go to the Shoe to play Ohio State. Then they play Purdue. Even if they lose to Ohio State, they'll be in the Big Ten championship game. And is 11-1 Indiana in the playoff? I mean, it's hard to argue against them. They have not played a ranked team yet. Ohio State will be the only ranked team they play all year. It's hard to argue. They're one of the feel-good stories of the college football season. They keep it rolling 10-0 for the first time in school history.
Yeah, we lose sight of the group of 5 plenty, really except for Boise State. But
yeah,
man,
I'm good with that.
The American, they have a hell of a race going at the top.
Yeah,
obviously, Army, Tulane, Navy. Army and Tulane inside track right now, both undefeated. Navy sitting there with 1 loss, but they face Tulane this coming weekend. There's a pretty big battle going along there on the American. And if Boise slips up, it's going to be one of those teams that ends up taking that spot in the college football playoff. So keep a close eye on the AAC.
No, I won't. I don't care. I don't care about the group of 5 stealing a bid from a legitimate football team.
How about Virginia?
Talk to me all about how good Tulane is. Yeah, Tulane's played 2 P5 schools. They blew it on their home field against a mediocre Kansas State team and lost at a terrible Oklahoma team. Like, don't tell me. They're a great G5 school. Don't tell me they deserve to be in the playoff. Kick rocks. Go have your own playoff, G5, where you could play your own kind. Dorks. So sick of pretending to care about schools that don't matter. Actually, I've never pretended to care about schools.
I was about to say,
ever.
What?
What, Paul? After your welcome back Ole Miss thing, you got me in a mood. I've been in a good mood all day. All things considered. I wanted to start the show today with the most epic Bama is burning ever.
Yeah.
And LSU screwed that up for me so bad. So I'm going to have to wait another day. Like, it's going to happen because Bama's going to lose again. And when they do, I'll do Bama's burning again because, as I've always said, it's never been about LSU. It's about anybody but Bama. And I'll have my opportunity to laugh at them again, just like I did when they lost to Vanderbilt, Tennessee, and they'll lose again. It just would have been really good. Like, really good if I could have done it if LSU had been the one that hung the third L on. Today would have been epic. So I'm bummed. Huge missed opportunity. Damn you, Brian Kelly. What, Paul? Go. Hurry. Show ends at 6.
Going to give a shout out to Virginia.
How many times do you got to tell you that?
Knocking off Pitt.
No. Okay.
Oh, man.
The loss kind of ends Pitt's chance of crashing the
I just started
ACC
thinking about
championship.
what would have been with the Bama's burning skit today, and I didn't get to do it. It sucks.
That would have been good.
That would have been
I was looking forward to it.
Trust me. Believe you me. Man, it would have been good. Are you done?
Pretty much.
Thank God.
Virginia 1 win away from bowl eligibility.
I was going to say something about BYU still being undefeated, but I don't care anymore. It's after further review. That's your college football takeaways brought to you by Evermore. So hot right now. I need some Evermore. There it is. Natural artesian water. Better source of hydration. It's a rare alkaline source. Fresh, smooth taste perfected by nature. Says it right there on the bottle, but you don't need to read the bottle to believe it. Grab you some Evermore and try it for yourself. Quit buying that crinkly, crappy plastic water bottle from Texas. This is a Louisiana product. It's natural artesian water out of a natural artesian well in the North Shore of Louisiana. Never touches air until you take the cap off. It's delicious. It's pure. It's Evermore. EVAMOR. Evermore.com. Evermore.com. Okay. I got our final break. We get to Otter Locks next. See what Otter's got us betting on tonight. I think Otter has a college basketball play for us tonight. And, by the way, so he crushed it in college basketball last year. I mean, it was one of those in Fuego years. Kind of like the baseball season he had a few years ago before he went to Del Mar and then couldn't buy a game. But so I hope he's got a great sports betting season for us in college basketball. But today, his play today borderlines on degeneracy, and I love it. I'm here for it.
You're talking about the basketball play?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah, he's got Monday Night Football play for us.
Good.
But he's got 2 basketball games. 2. They're up at LouisianaSports.net, or you'll get them next on AFR.
After further review.
Brought to you by Rouse's, where they're just slinging turkeys, y'all. Buy a ham, get a turkey. It's that easy over at Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouses.com, Rouses.com. You can get your Butterball Thanksgiving turkey for free at Rouse's. Buy a Hormel Cure 81 spiral sliced ham for just $2.99 a pound. And get a Butterball Grade A frozen turkey up to 14 pounds for free. You'll learn more over at Rouses.com, Rouses.com. Right there on the homepage of the website if you want to get more info. That's right. Buy a Hormel Cure 81 spiral sliced ham and get a free Butterball Grade A frozen turkey for your Thanksgiving dinner. Limit 1 per customer with a $25 in-store purchase. You can visit Rouses.com for more details. Rouses.com, Rouses.com. Rouses, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouses.com, Rouses. This feels like home.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Savor game day platters and snacks, plus drink specials at 1717 Kitchen and Cocktail. So come out for game day and let our team make you the MVP. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
The only thing scary about the deals at Bayou Ford is if you miss out on them, like $15,000 off F-150. Bayou Ford has $15,000 off Ford F-150. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
Down the stretch we come, final segment here on a Monday edition of AFR. Always appreciate Brandon Holly and the gang over at Relief Windows. Energy efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank vinyl siding. They do shutters as well. Check them out, Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. All right, time for Outer Locks.
Outer Locks.
All right, time to win some money.
Presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
I think it's safe to say that I won the bet.
Well, Otter, we finished the night with a rocking chair cover courtesy of the Detroit Lions. Did we lose?
No, they didn't cover. They didn't cover.
I got him at 2.5. Oh, I in-gamed it. I in-gamed it at 2.5.
Okay. No, they were 3.5. It went to 4 a lot of places.
I got him 2.5
before the game.
You know what? I got him at 2.5 right before Goff's first interception. And so, and then Houston scored. I mean, I could have got an even better number, but I got 2.5. So nice way to finish.
There were plenty of value opportunities on the Lions throughout the game last night.
That's well said.
First time since 1970, a team with a 16-point lead and benefited from 5 turnovers but lost the game. So, well, there are a lot of these right now. So,
to my benefit. All right.
Hey,
what we got tonight? So, yeah, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
A couple of college basketball games tonight. First, 2 going at SEC venues in a matter of minutes. So 6 o'clock tips in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. You saw McNeese State on the opening day. They went to South Dakota State and got tripped up. They lost, but they were down 4 starters for that game. They're at full strength tonight in Tuscaloosa. Now, Alabama, I think, is the best team in the country this year in college basketball. Okay. They gave UConn their best game by far last year in the Final Four, and they lost nobody. They gained recruits. They gained transfers. They're really loaded for NATO's this year. But I think McNeese State, I'm going to take it just because they are at full strength. It's not the same team that lost to South Dakota State. We put it out earlier, plus 18. I'm not sure what it is.
It's at 17
right now.
17 right now.
Yeah, so take the 17. We had it at 18 on the website earlier today. It's going down a little bit. Also, I would say there's a few distractions in Gainesville, Florida, surrounding their basketball coach and their program. It's funny about this, man. The football coaches on the Sharks, the basketball. Well, okay. Anyway, they.
Well, I mean, hey, if you want to take it a step further, it's not like Kevin O'Sullivan has avoided controversy altogether there as well.
Yes. Let me say this though. Grambling not that bad this year. Plus 26 on the road against a team with a lot of distractions here. Paul Stone, we were talking to him privately today. He brought it to my attention. I dug a little bit on it. And, we're on Grambling as well, plus 26.
Okay. McNeese plus the 17, Grambling plus 26. What about Monday Night Football?
Monday Night Football, going to go with the home team, going to go with the stronger coach here. Kind of a Randy McKay angle in this one with the Los Angeles Rams. So Tua has come back and no doubt he has helped their team. But, man, how many games, close games do they lose that don't have a whole lot of toughness to them? And so, kind of the whole culture of the soft, this is the soft culture that they've had. All the tough coaches that they've run off, whether it's Flores, whether it's Vic Fangio, they're all gone. So they lack certainly some physical and mental toughness, and we're going to take the Rams at home. Coming off that big win against the Seattle a game ago.
All right, Rams will be in New Orleans a week from Sunday, 2 weeks from Sunday. Yeah, Saints play the Browns in the bye, then they'll host the Rams. All right, McNeese scrambling on the hardwood, and the Rams laying the 2.5 on Monday Night Football. Where are you tomorrow?
1 minute remaining.
We're at Dozy Place on Government Street in the heart of Mid-City.
All right, catch Jimmy and Charles. Of course, they're on YouTube now as well on the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. Thanks, Otter.
All right, good luck.
All right, thanks, man. We're brought to you by Optimize, GeneratorPeople.com, GeneratorPeople.com. Tell you all the time, turnkey installation, low down payment, $600 down payment, financing for any budget, so you stay in charge of your finances, and the price quote guarantee at Optimize. If you're thinking of installing a Generac automatic home standby generator, you got a lot of options, but you call the Generator People. GeneratorPeople.com, GeneratorPeople.com. That's Optimize. The entire 1012 corridor, 4 physical locations, anywhere from Lake Charles to Slidell and in between. GeneratorPeople.com. It's Optimized. GeneratorPeople.com. All right, that'll do it for us. Appreciate y'all for being here with us. Looking forward to a busy Tuesday show tomorrow. Muse, Paulie, have a great night. See you tomorrow at 3.
After further review.
Getting on down the road. Let me remind you about Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Michelli.com. Check out Michelli on LinkedIn as well. If you don't follow them there, they do a great job of updating a lot of their content there on LinkedIn. And when they're hiring, you can see what positions they have available. And so many other things that they might be present for. Like, for example, next week is the International Workboat Show, November 12th through the 14th. And they'll be there in booth 850. So check out Michelli in the Morial Convention Center down in New Orleans. So if you're going to be down at the International Workboat Show, make sure you check out Michelli's booth there. Again, we tell you all the time about the dozens of different industries that they serve. If you weigh or measure something, they sell, service, rent the products used to weigh and measure. And obviously, on this Veterans Day, Michelli has a great veterans program as well with veterans working for them there. You can learn more at Michelli.com. Michelli.com.
The only thing scary about the deals at Bayou Ford is if you miss out on them, like $15,000 off F-150. Bayou Ford has $15,000 off Ford F-150. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Join us at Pro Dreams in Mandeville for our special event, A Day of Champions. Meet LSU National Championship winning head coaches Jay Johnson, Skip Burtman, and Paul Maneri. Don't miss your chance to purchase authentic sports memorabilia, autographed by the champions themselves. It's the perfect opportunity to celebrate LSU baseball and take home a piece of history. Visit pro-dreams.com to get your tickets. See you there.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your number